pretty cool. We have 2 cameras now, and we're gonna stuff and mixers and all kinds of stuff. So it's pretty. Anyway, that's basically thanks to Mike the engineer from Extra 106.3, which we're on Friday mornings with the Kimmer Talking, and also Saturday at noon for a highlight thing of the podcast. So anyway, welcome. How you doing? Good to see you, or hear you, or look at you, and you can check us out on Facebook. And don't forget, a basic thing, what's the matter?
We don't want them to go to Facebook. We want them to go to YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I was just going to say, if the basic thing to do, if you would right now, if you haven't already, is go to thekimmershow.net and look for the YouTube channel doohickey thing. Hit that, and where it says subscribe, hit the subscribe, and you're in. That's all you have to do. If you do that, you may help us actually try to keep this on the air. I mean, it's really that simple, right? If they do that, now they don't have to do it every day, right? Or do they?
Once they subscribe, they subscribe.
Beautiful. So just do it one, please, everybody listening, because we have thousands of listeners and only hundreds of subscribers.
When we post every day, does it send them a thing saying, "Hey, Kimmer is posted on YouTube. You want to watch it now?" Because sometimes that happens.
You mean like us?
Like if I follow somebody on YouTube, it'll say, "Hey, so and so's just."
Yes. Yes. So it should,
cool.
like a lot of the times, once we start doing that more, it'll, especially if they're following us.
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent. Anyhow, man, we got a lot of stuff today. Also, this could be an unusual week because I'm going to Florida to get my stuff.
Good knowing you.
Good knowing you. And if I don't come back, by God, I love you all, and it was a wonderful experience here on this earth. Because you never know.
Gators gonna, okay, let's do an over-under here. Or a Twitter poll. Does a gator get you?
Yeah, or a cop.
Cop
Either a gator or a cop or a girl. Because there are some. In fact, somebody asked me, "Are you going to go see so and so down there?" Now wait a minute. I didn't. There was nothing. Thing anyway.
Bath salts.
Anyway, and we'll keep you posted on what's going on and stuff like that. We got a huge news story that just broke as we were on the way here to get to Flounder's house today.
What?
In fact, a couple of them. The Kavanaugh case. You may not have. Oh my God!
I don't watch the news anymore.
Well, we'll talk about it in a second. But also,
Just
Flounder.
one damn thing after another.
Well, also late this morning in the Glenn Beck show, all of a sudden Flounder and the guys break in locally at 106.3, which you can get on a free app on your phone, to announce that there was some kind of a potential terrorist operation at the ballpark. What the hell was all that about?
I was leaving the station probably just around 10, I guess. And right when I walk out the door, there were 2 cops. And they were asking us what side of the building we're on, and we told them the right. And they said, "Okay, are you guys part of the radio station?" We said, "Yeah." And he goes, "We need to get them to the other side of the building." So I guess if you're looking at the stadium from our building, I guess the bomb threat was to the right.
That's 2 bomb threat kind of in like the last few weeks.
And was it a bomb threat in a car? They mentioned some strange car there.
I think there was a strange car, but they had everything blocked off to where when I walked out the door, I couldn't go maybe 50 feet and everything. They wouldn't let us go past there.
But again, nothing happened. It was okay. Now, again, I almost, in fact, I used to have a rule when I was running news departments, when I was a news director, program director and stuff, I would say we don't cover bomb threats unless it shuts down the city. I mean, if the Empire State Building empties out in the middle of New York City, someone's going to cover it. But who cares? But basically, we don't. Yeah, I don't care. But basically, we don't. But just for the record, here we go. Now, the other major story, before we get to all kinds of personal stuff, is the Brett Kavanaugh case. 1:30 this morning, a 20-something-year-old from California drives up in front of Brett Kavanaugh's house and acts suspicious. Somebody kind of tipped off somebody. The cops and Secret Service got hold of the guy. He had a gun and a knife, and he wanted to kill Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court Justice. Gee, why do you think he wanted to do that? I remember a Chuck Schumer saying, "We're coming for you, Kavanaugh. We're coming for you, girl." Supreme Justice, whose name I forgot right now. Maisie Tays. No, what's her name? I can't remember what the girl's name. Remember when he said that? "We're coming for you, and you're going to have to do this about abortion and everything else." Well, here they go. The white supremacists. It's Pelosi's poppers, Schumer's shooters, Schiff's slimy slaughterers, all these white supremacists. The biggest danger in America is white Democrats. White male Democrats, 25-year-old white male Democrats, biggest threat to peace in America. Can you imagine the balls on these Democrats run by Pelosi and Schumer and the White House to attack and assassinate Supreme Court justices? There was a movie about that with the girl from Smyrna, the mouth is smiling girl. Julia Roberts. And the one where she was the illegal girl and the law school student.
Kimmer forgetting the name of a major local movie star. Brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets. ClosetPro.net. 404-255-0589. Atlanta Custom Closets. ClosetPro.net.
The Pelican Brief, and it was about assassinating the
Really? I
Supreme
never
Court to
saw
get
it.
a ruling. Oh
Yeah,
my
she
God,
was
you'd love that
She
movie.
was a college student who was writing a thesis.
She was a law student.
Yeah, and she
and
wrote
her
a
professor
thesis.
got blown up in a car, and then the whole case started because killings. You would love that movie.
Sounds like every John Grisham movie.
They're all real good movies, though.
God,
Actually,
you are
There were.
so
The
narrow-minded.
one with Gene Hackman playing a killer in Mississippi, a Klansman from
Yeah.
the 60s. And his
He was the
his
FBI agent.
grandfather has to come down from Chicago to represent him.
I got you.
That is a great movie.
I'm telling you.
I forget the name of it, but that's a great
You'd
movie.
like the Pelican Brief. It's really well done. And Denzel Washington, by the way, is one of my 3 or 4 favorite actors, and he does a
Mississippi
spectacular
Burning.
role as a reporter. I mean, you'd love it.
is it not Mississippi Burning?
It's not Mississippi Burning. I refuse
No,
to
that's
watch
the other
that
one.
bullshit.
Anyway, I'm telling you, you would like the movie.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so Kavanaugh. So here we go. The left. By the way, CNN and MSNBC called it a mostly peaceful assassination attempt.
Sorry, the chamber. It's the
The
chamber.
You're right. The
Oh, I remember that. When it
Very
was a
good
death
movie.
row case, and
Faye Dunaway's a little bit in it, but Gene Hackman should have got an Oscar.
yeah, I think I saw that, but I don't know why I didn't like it. I guess I don't like death row thing. Did they show him getting executed? Was that what happened?
I don't know.
I can't remember. There
I
was
don't
something
remember the
about
end
it I
of
didn't
it.
like.
Oh, he didn't get off. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, but I think they showed him. I don't remember. Something about it I don't like. Anyway, the Kavanaugh thing, this is unbelievable. These Democrats, and you know, the White House is saying, well, it was a mostly peaceful assassination attempt, and we're going to put Carmela's side piece on it right now, and she'll get to the bottom of the assassination attempt. Clearly, they're going to try to blame the guy's knife. I think it would be the knife attack of some kind. But here we go. I mean, who didn't know this was going to happen?
Well, the
they
White
were begging
House,
for it.
Jim Psaki, they said pretty much
We
it was
agree with
okay.
Cook. Yeah, there's a federal law which says you are not allowed to intimidate by any means, including protesting out in front of a Supreme Court justice's house or residence or place of business or anything else with the intent of having that Supreme Court justice sway his opinion about something. It's a federal law.
Yep.
And they have admitted they're going there deliberately to make them change their mind. I mean, and I heard Glenn Beck this morning was interviewing a guy who's been in solitary confinement, one of the guys at the Proud Boys, for walking in the Capitol. Yeah. He didn't hit a cop. He didn't steal anything. He didn't call for a resurrection. His name's not anything calling for a revolt. And he's been in solitary confinement because he's a leader of the Proud Boys. And by that basis only, they've kept him in solitary confinement for a year. No charges, no trial. That's what the Nazis, that's what the Saudi Arabians do.
That's what the French Revolution did and the Soviet tribunals did.
I mean, pick a period in world history, and there's somebody who does that, and it was never America. Well, it was, FDR and the Japanese. But anyway,
A Democrat.
Yeah, a Democrat again. But still, I mean, it's absolutely appalling. I mean, the differences in criminal justice in this country against conservatives or against non-liberals. It's even worse than just
We
conservatives.
used to be rule of law in this country. Obama changed that. It became rule of man. We're in power, and by God, we're going to wield it. And that's what we have now. We
Rule
have
of getting even.
Rule of man.
The rule of equity. It's a rule that, those black, we need to get them up to equal. We got to be equal. We'll be very careful. Slavery reparations.
So does this mean I can get the...
We need to get a black girl on the Supreme Court. Come on. We got to... And again, I can't believe that nobody, including our Tennessee senator who started it saying, what is a woman? I can't believe she didn't say, let me get this straight. You want to be on the Supreme Court and you don't know what a woman is? Of course, then she's a sexist and a racist and a homophobe or whatever. But
I just want to be back on TV commercials. That's all I'm asking.
yeah, I mean, it's amazing when you see Dockers and it's all black guys. I mean, come on. Basswegians.
What are you saying?
When's the last time you saw a black guy wearing Dockers?
What the hell are Dockers?
Khaki pants.
Oh, I don't think
The famous white man khaki pants.
I don't think so.
It's
I've
like
never
button-down collars from
Maybe Brandon Joseph had some khakis.
from Brooks Brothers. The brothers are big with Brooks Brothers button-down collar shirts, Oxford cloth.
Actually, Brooks Brothers came back in style. Is back in style.
I never liked them. They're too boxy. They're just a plain, straight
Yeah,
boxy. I love European cuts where they broad shoulder, narrow at the hips, and kind of sleek and everything.
You're a cutting edge fashion.
I'm a
guy.
cutting guy. I'm kind of a cutting guy. Anyway, so that was going on with that business about Brett
he's
Kavanaugh
okay.
trying to, but he's fine. Nothing happened. They caught him. They got the
Don't
guy.
they always have security?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thank God. But again, because of these Democrats. And I can't wait. Well, I'm not going to watch it because I don't watch the national news media, but I wonder how they're going to spin it. You know they're going to try to find something, and they're not going to go to any reporter first thing would go to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters and all those screamers and say, how do you feel now about what happened after you encouraged people to do something against the Supreme Court justices? What's your reaction now? I wonder if they'll go to any of them and try to get a comment. Or they'll get a press release. Schumer's office will say, "We condemn anything other than a peaceful protest in America." You know, you sturdy. I hate these freaking people. Swear to God.
Didn't Schumer say we'd reap the
you will reap
the whirlwind?
Yeah, that's right.
I've got the audio if we want to.
Yeah, let's play it. Here we go. Schumer. Yeah. And again, this could have been a Hillary hit team. I don't know. It's really hard to tell whether she wanted to have him killed.
Well, speaking of Hillary,
so she can go back and run for president
yesterday,
again. Oh, yeah?
She goes, for you.
Go ahead.
Fox News won't air the January 6th hearings because they prefer their sedition made fresh on site. To which Prowler responded, "Are you serious, bitch? You should be tried and aired out for treason, sedition, murder, and a slew of other charges. Take several seats. Benghazi hasn't been forgotten or forgiven either, you criminal cow."
Who wrote that?
Prowler. You criminal cow.
She was responsible for the coup against, the worst political scandal in the history of the world.
She's untouchable, and she knows it.
God. Anyway, did you find a Schumer thing? Here's Schumer's threat.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
You will pay.
You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
If Trump had said that,
you hit you. They would have impeached him again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. These free, honestly, this whole country would change if the national news media would all of a sudden. God, I wish I had the power of hypnosis, and I would hypnotize all the editors of all the you are getting of all the things, so that starting tomorrow. All of a sudden, they would go back into all of their video files. They would show the protests of burning. They would show the comments of the people making all these outrageous comments. They would show the duplicity of the how the justice lets rioters and arsonists get out of jail with no bond, and the vice president helps them, compared to how they treat Republicans, and show the actual reality of what actually did happen, what the truth was about all these things in the last 3 or 4 years, including the Russian collusion. And if America was able to say, "Oh my God, they tricked us all this time," and I wonder if that might finally start the ball rolling. I don't know, to get back to where we should be. I'm sick about it. I'm just sick about it. Here we go again, trying to assassinate a Supreme Court justice. Was that a froggy?
That's a hypnotoad.
You ever been hypnotized?
Hell no.
Flounder, you ever been hypnotized? I was.
But I bet we're about to hear how you were hypnotized from
What's
quit
that?
smoking.
Oh, he'll bring us back around.
Yeah.
What? I didn't hear that.
When you quit smoking, didn't you?
That's true. Shall I tell my story or not?
I guess this is my fault, actually. So
Well, I don't have to tell it if you don't. It's a story from years ago.
Yeah,
Well, it was very
tell
quick.
it.
I started smoking when I was 9. I was like a 2-pack-a-day habit when I was 12, and a 4-pack-a-day habit when I was in the Marines. Okay, it's lucky strikes. Boom, bam, that's the way it goes. So I finally decided back in 1976 maybe to quit smoking. And so I went to the Ochsner Foundation Clinic in New Orleans. The Ochsner was the first guy who identified cancer as a problem with cigarettes back in the 50s.
You're doing the backstory.
Okay, all right, okay. So I went to the clinic, and in the clinic, they put you in a little booth. It goes like for 2 hours a day for 5 days. And you go in this little booth, you enclose by yourself, like a little phone booth. And it's filled with nothing but cigarette ashes and smoke, and you can barely breathe, and it's filled with cigarettes and ashes. The guy on the other side of the glass will tell you, okay, you can only smoke when I tell you to smoke. He says, light a cigarette and smoke it as fast as you can. Eventually, the tip gets about 3 inches of red-hot flame, and you're going to throw up. So it's called aversion therapy. You blow ashes in your face. I mean, you just feel like every time you get a cigarette, instead of thinking, oh God, I'm going to have sex, so I'm going to have a cigarette. I'm going to have my cigarette with my coffee, my first meal. I can't wait to have my cigarette. All the things you associate with happiness and cigarettes. Now you're associating terrible things with cigarettes, and it actually does work. And I was skeptical. The last day, we do a thing, and then he says, okay, come on to the office. He said, lay down over there. He had a little couch over there, and he said, just lay down there. I'm going to play a tape for you. I'm going to leave. I'm going to play a tape for you, and just, listen to the tape, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. I said, okay. So I laid down. He went out and closed the door. The next thing I know, I'm getting up. I open the door, walk out of the hall, place I've never been before. I've never been to this office. Walk down the hall, up some stairs, walk down another hall, go into a room I'd never seen before either, and there's the doctor saying, oh, everything worked okay. He had hypnotized me by tape. And it worked so well that I had no idea what's on the tape. Nothing to this day.
Well, this proves the theory.
What?
That intelligent people cannot be hypnotized.
Cannot be hypnotized. Now, the other time when I was going through therapy, because I had some things there when, one of the thing, they tried it and it didn't really work. I mean, you have to want to be hypnotized.
So how does that happen?
I'm telling you, it was amazing. I mean, I honestly, and how did I know where to go?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
He told me. He said, walk down, whatever. Anyway, I don't know why the hell I was talking about hypnotizing. Oh, if I could hypnotize, so they would just tell the truth. They just show what they've been doing the last 4 or 5 years, especially the last 2 years.
I think some of them are so ingrained that they don't know what they're doing. As we're finding out, do you see Washington Post Civil War that's going on?
Yeah. Oh, in fact, can you save that? Make a note. I want you to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about CNN about to get some upheaval too. Yeah. But that's an amazing case. The Washington Post story, and I saw that guy interviewed too. This is unbelievable.
Well, what it is it's
oh my God.
The woke idiots are now turning on each other.
I remember what happened.
You're not woke enough.
Well, remember the girl who just got the job at one of the liberal publications, and they dug up a tweet of hers when she was 19 and fired her, and she was the editor of, I don't know, human resources. I mean, it's outrageous. Anyway, we'll get to that stuff. Can I do a couple of personal things? First of all, this, I don't know, I guess they can see me over there.
Don't drop
can you tell by looking at your screen?
Just show yours.
Oh, yeah,
Flounder.
okay.
You got yours right there.
Oh, there you go.
When I said show yours, I meant the honey
not
jar.
your thing, the jar of honey. Oh, my God, man. This is a jar of Sweet Rebecca's pure Tupelo honey. Odum apiaries? Apiaries?
That's bees. That's for bees. Apiary.
Apiaries. Wow. And apiaries, beehives. Yeah, I got you. I couldn't see it because it's crinkled on the paper.
Use your word.
Yeah, I'll use my words.
Sorry.
From Rebecca, Georgia. Actually, Sweet Rebecca's, and it's actual great, beautiful honey, and it came from our friend Charlie from Tifton. Yeah. And there was no note in it, and I brought it in to give it to the boys. And now,
you wrote me. He goes, "There's no note." And then I open up my mail, and Charlie goes, "I didn't send a note."
And I didn't know what it was. I couldn't imagine. So anyway, so thank you, Charlie.
Honey.
That's really
that's good. You rub honey on a cut, it gets better.
Honey, in fact, isn't honey the only food you never have to refrigerate or take care of?
It's antibacterial.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And everybody, in fact, they say that local produced honey, I mean, instead of the stuff you buy from the factories and God knows where, is way more good for you.
It's such a cute little bear, the little plastic bear.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine still, but still, this is supposed to be good local honey is really good for you and good.
Right color.
And they say, now, it used to be, I remember as a kid, people used to say, take a spoonful of honey every day.
Spoonful of sugar.
But it was a spoonful of honey.
Some medicine
and they said it was like an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Really?
It was
I didn't know that.
spoonful of honey. Now that goes back to the 50s.
They also
anyway.
did castor oil.
There you go. Anyway, so thank you, Charlie. That's very kind, man. I appreciate it. And also, I don't know if you can see it. This is funny. Our engineer buddy Mike from Extra 106.3, which is where I do the Friday morning call-in show at 7:30, which, by the way, I still will do, Flounder, even though I'll be on the road. And he's been so good. He's been putting up studio stuff here and doing engineering things. I mean, it's really unbelievable. So today on the way in, we wanted to give him something nice, and so you can't see it.
He's listening, so probably.
Oh, good.
He's probably listening, so you can't.
Good. Anyway, I won't open it to spoil it for you, but this is apparently he's a Scotch drinker. And this was the best bottle of Scotch that I could find in the place this morning on the way here to Flounders. And for the record, what sold me on it was, he said there are 2 or 3 different kinds. So I said, what's the best? He said, well, this, that. And then he sold me on it because this is the brand of Scotch that Ron Swanson swears by in Parks and Rec. So, Mike, because we appreciate all you've done, that, my friend, is for you. So there you go. Now, one more food thing. Can I do one more food thing?
Sure.
This. I put this on Facebook, too. I guess, by the way, is this working, Flounder? Can they see if I hold this up? Can they see on that camera?
Yeah.
They can't.
I'm
Okay.
looking at it right now. I can see.
Okay, it's a jar of Skippy.
Yep.
It's a Skippy peanut butter. Now, again, for the record, this all started last week when there was an announcement that what's the matter? Oh, that's okay.
Well, I was letting them know that we also now have a wireless mic.
And a wireless mic. Thank you, Mike, for the wireless mic. Mike, double mic. They took Skippy off the shelf because there was one incident with some contamination at one batch of it or whatever. So now it's all gone.
Jif.
I mean, it took Jif off the shelf because of one thing, which I guess is okay because they're afraid people won't buy it or whatever. But anyway, whatever. So you can't find Jif, at least for a while. So I bought a jar of Peter Pan, which I remember as a kid we used to have too, but we used to buy Skippy or Peter Pan. So I was running out of the Peter Pan, so yesterday I went to the store to get some more, and I thought, what the hell, I'll go back and I'll try the Skippy, which I haven't had since 1952 probably. Okay, so I tried, and for one thing, you can squeeze the bottle.
Okay.
I mean, it's like it's like a ketchup bottle, like a squeezable thing, and when I opened it, it was all soupy. I mean, it wasn't
Well,
like
natural peanut butter usually has
oil
like oil at the top.
But again, remember in our last podcast Monday, the way to take care of that is to just turn it upside down when you put your peanut butter. When you store your peanut butter, when you
peanut
put it
butter,
away,
my chocolate.
turn it upside down, and the oil won't go down
I
the bottom.
did your
It'll
little
stay there.
experiment.
Yeah.
I turned my big thing upside down.
Yeah.
And I opened it up today, and
Yeah.
it was all greasy.
Well, you
So
have
what's
the
the
wrong kind
benefit
of
of
peanut.
that?
Well, what kind of peanut butter you have? Was that natural
Jif.
crap?
No, it's not Jif.
Yeah,
It's
I bet it was some natural shit you got.
it's Peter Pan.
Well,
No. I take it back. It's the old Jif. It's an old Jif.
yeah,
a long
well,
time ago.
because it's old. Anyway, but that's what they say. Now, again, I don't know why this was so loose, and I don't like it, but you guys can have it if you want. It's brand new.
You know why I don't like it?
You don't like peanut butter?
No, I don't like that kind of.
Flounder, do you like Skippy peanut butter? It's fresh, brand new.
No. It's creamy.
I'm good. I got plenty of peanut butter.
Nobody
It's-
wants it.
it's
Well,
creamy.
It's
That's
creamy.
why.
Oh, you like
Just-
crunchy?
I like crunchy.
I don't like crunchy. I'm sorry. Anyway, speaking of food, are you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Some of the latest food price marks have come out. For example, oh, by the way, gasoline's up again. I can't wait to see what it is today. It was $5.20 yesterday, or the other day when I went in. I go every couple of days because I get 12 miles a gallon. And they asked me if I want to buy another horse. I can't afford my car. I'm going to get another horse. Anyway, so it's gone up another 20 cents, probably as of today even. It's almost $5 on an average for regular gas. That's outrageous.
You want to hear some tips about buying gas?
I do.
I didn't know this. I used to
Buy it in the morning as far as cooler?
Buy it in the morning.
Or night?
No, well, when it's cool, before
Dark,
it starts
when
to
it's
heat
cool,
up.
the temperature.
So usually in the morning's best. And don't put it on the fast. We all put it on the fast thing and stand there and
Yeah.
smoke or whatever. Put it on the low thing, because the more faster you go in, and the more vapor builds up, and it'll act like it's full, and it's not really full.
I'll bet that's true.
And you don't want to ever get gas when the truck is there, depositing the gas,
Oh, 'cause you
because
get
he's
the old
stirring
stuff.
up the
The
sediment.
old stuff, yeah. Good point. Good tip. Anyway, the gas prices are, I mean, it's really, I mean.
Damn. Huh? I filled up my car this morning in the morning, but the truck was there.
You're screwed. That's why it's good to be in the shop again. Anyway, along with
You all
gas,
right?
yeah.
I'll hit you if you want.
I'm fine now. Excuse me. It's the humidity in here. I feel clammy and totally like I'm humid in this house right here now. I mean, I feel like I'm in a sauna, and it's going right to my sinuses.
Really?
Yeah,
You feel hot?
I do.
Okay.
No, I don't feel hot. I feel clammy. I feel humid.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing you're going to Florida then. So.
Good. Oh, I'm going to love that going back there. I had another storm. You see the cars, and even north of Miami or someplace, 2 feet of water. All of a sudden, you're all flooded out. I went through that. I mean, Florida in the summertime is horrible.
Okay, I'm sorry. If I go outside and it's 2 feet of water,
Yeah.
you know what's in there.
Yeah, that's right.
Gators.
Yeah, gators and
Well,
snakes.
have
and-
you
yeah.
thought about getting a rent-a-car? Because you'd probably save on gas plus you wouldn't put miles on your car.
What are you talking about? For Florida?
Yeah.
Down to Florida.
No, I've got a van.
Oh,
I've got
okay,
a truck.
gotcha.
I'm driving. I'm picking up my stuff.
Ah.
I'm going down to clear out my locker, but I paid $2,000 or $3,000 a year to have shit sitting on the floor.
Well, not anymore.
And not anymore. And it's probably. By the way, I wonder what the chances are that it's all mildewed and all my Marine Corps uniforms are down there. Oh God. Anyway, So I'm going to be, and I'm going to keep track of how much that cost me in gas and mileage, all that stuff. So it ought to be kind of fun. Anyway,
Well, that should be a fascinating show on Monday. You going over your mileage.
where I stopped, how long I stayed. Spent 14 minutes inside the.
I've got the receipts right here.
The McDonald's at exit 14.
Oh, boy.
Here are some of the things going along, how the companies are tricking you. We mentioned this a couple times the other day. Here we go again. Here's the latest. Cereal. By the way, I bought a box of cereal for the first time in, I don't remember, forever and ever.
What
Because
flavor?
I don't buy cereal, but I was looking for a snack that I can eat fun with and still
Crunch
have
berries.
sugar. Well, and so I bought a box of strawberry flavored shredded wheat things. And you put milk and cream in there, and then sugar on top of their sugar, and it's really very tasty. And I only eat about 6 of them, and I'm already full because it's the grainy. It's like eating grape nuts. Have you ever had grape nuts?
They're horrible.
Oh yeah, but man, you eat about 2 spoonfuls, and you're stuffed for a week.
It's gravel.
Well, I know, but I used to love it with a lot of sugar on it, and I used to love it. Anyway, so I went shopping. Here's the deal: Honey Bunches of Oats has now giving you 17% less in the box. Yeah. That's almost a fifth less for the same price or higher. The Haribo gummy bears, the big famous gummy bears, they went from 5 ounces to 4 ounces. Yeah. That's 20%. Yeah. You got screwed 20%. Folgers coffee used to be 51 ounces in their big bucket. Now it's 43.5. Again, 20%. Angel Soft bathroom tissue used to be 425 sheets. Now it's 320. Again, what's that? 20%. Or more. Kleenex Ultra Soft tissues went from 65 tissues to 60. Arm & Hammer, 75 ounces, is now 67 ounces. And Doritos used to be 9.75 ounces in the bag, and now it's 9.2 ounces in the bag. And again, whether the price is in, same with candy. Try to find candy and see what the price of that stuff is. I don't buy that much candy, but anyway. So once again, this is how they're,
If Biden would just open up the candy pit and drill for more candy.
Yeah, they get that whole chute going there. It comes right in from Canada. Oh my God, it's right there. It goes right to the freaking stores.
That's where Starbright comes from, right?
Unbelievable. Anyway, all right, coming up, hold on. When's your next Holy Crap at Sports? Later?
Already did it.
Oh, you did it? Oh my God. Well, now what was your key thing today?
Oh, the Braves look pretty good. Oh,
But
the dam has broken on the PGA.
Oh, wow, you're not kidding.
Dustin Johnson's going, and today Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick
He was
Reed
the
are
U.S.
joining.
Open winner, and these are major with
The
Sergio
PGA,
Garcia.
It's going to get really nasty.
These
here,
are
what happens.
major champion winners who have resigned their PGA
Charles
membership.
Schwartzel, they can't be in
another
the Ryder.
major
No more
champion,
Ryder
Masters
Cup.
champion.
No
That's
Ryder
right.
Cup for him. Now the U.S. Open's going to let him play, but the other
Well,
ones
it's
don't
open to
have
anybody.
to.
U.S. Open's open to anybody. Me,
Well, I'll go then.
U.S. Open's open to me. I can qualify if I'm good enough. I could qualify for it. So, but again, these are Masters winners, U.S. Open winners. And by the way, I heard one of the rumors was, I guess it was a rumor. I couldn't confirm it, that they offered Tiger Woods $1 billion.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, they offered Dustin Johnson. They gave Dustin Johnson $150 million.
That right there is twice as much as he's made ever.
Oh, as anyone would, my God, Jack Nicklaus in his whole career made maybe $1 million, because everything's relative. Yeah. But still, when you're off throwing around, tens of hundreds of millions of dollars, and these guys are all saying, philosophically, they're independent contractors. They have the right to play where they're qualified to play, and they're not forced to play the PGA Tour
because they're not like NBA players. So like when the NBA, you
not part of
sign
the team.
saying you're only going to play in the NBA.
No, you're not part.
And the thing is, screw the PGA.
Right.
Because I noticed last night, Scott Van Pelt on ESPN had a list of the next 8 LIV tour. Only one's in Saudi Arabia. The rest are here or in Europe.
England. They're in Europe. I think the first one's in
London.
London.
Most of them are here, including the last one in Miami. Where?
Trump
Doral.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Van Pelt only called it Doral. But I'm seeing, looking at Trump around. Gee, wasn't that where they took, or one of those where the PGA took the course out?
Away from Trump.
So screw the PGA.
The same way they took him away from his other course in the Bedminster
I
or
hope
whatever.
they get destroyed.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the PGA. By the way, this is all legit because the PGA Tour is an organization that has a set of rules. If you're qualified to play and you follow the rules, you can play on the PGA Tour. If you decide I don't want to be on that tour, then you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
So again, this isn't like they're being anti-American or something. I question what, other than it just seems like nothing but greed. Why would you want to give up the PGA Tour is the cream of the crop? Now again, the Saudi Arabians.
If you already won a Masters and a U.S. Open, how many of those trophies you're going to have when you have $150 million that your family's going to be set for the next 3 generations?
By supporting the Saudi Arabians and the Middle Easterns
Where do
who
you
throw
think
gay
the
people
PGA
off
money
buildings.
comes from?
Well,
it comes from corporations that do horrendous things.
I would have a problem giving up a PGA Tour membership to go play for Saudi Arabia. I would. I would be legally allowed to do it. I would support my right to do it, but I can't imagine. Now, again, if somebody offered me $150 million, I mean, who am I? But still, if you have $10 million and well, I'd rather have $100 million, I don't know. The whole thing just reeks of, kind of just shallow or...
It's just what's happening in college football right now.
College football.
The name, image, and likeness.
Yeah.
We're in an uncharted territory, and I don't know. I said on my show this morning, who's going to have the worst year, the PGA or the NCAA, or the colleges trying to reel this in?
I think the PGA is in for
the dam is broke.
Yeah. And Mickelson. I mean, these are big names. These are huge stars. Anyway.
I assume, do they have contracts with the PGA that they're going to breach?
They're members.
They're members, but they can give up their membership.
Okay, gotcha.
In fact, while we're at it, let me do a couple quick things. Tiger, I mentioned $1 billion. Tell me what. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I forgot to bring out my stuff here today for my show. Like I normally do.
What are you, Carrot Top?
No. I got a bag full of stuff here. Like I got receipts. I put another thank you check from
Have you seen him
Denise
lately?
in the bank. And,
Well, not only that,
stuff.
the amount of work he's got on his, he's got like a bunch of plastic surgery.
Tell me what you think about this.
We have our own show going on.
John Madden, when he was with Tampa Bay and then later with the Chicago Cubs, ended the Cubs' 108-year World Series championship drought.
Joe Madden.
What did I say? Joe Madden. Not John. John Madden's a football coach. Joe Madden is the baseball manager. He ended the Cubs' 108-year drought of world championships in 2016. The guy is a well-known, obvious, great manager, and they just fired him at the Los Angeles Angels.
Yeah, should have fired him.
His record, he's had a 12-game losing streak. His record is 130 and 148. Now, why is he to blame for the fact that they don't have good enough players to win games? Is he making decisions on bad bullpen stuff? I mean, that would cost him his job?
He is a very pro-player, laissez-faire type eccentric coach. And that worked in Tampa Bay, and it worked in the Cubs, but then it quit working for the Cubs. The Cubs had a great team and should have won a lot more. They underperformed.
You mean they took advantage of his
I think
laissez-faire attitude?
They underperformed, so they fire him. So he goes to the Angels, and Angels have a pretty good team this year. They're the only team except the
Mike Trout. I mean,
they're the only team since the 1970 Cubs to be 10 games over 500 and go on a 12-game losing streak.
Is that Ohtani play for them?
Yeah. Well, he's having a horrible year.
So they got Ohtani and Trout. I mean,
Trout he's injured again. He had a home run and a double last night in his first game back. They're 13. They lost again last night, by the way.
Wow.
But he's hurt again, and he hasn't had a good year either. Yeah. He's just now starting to warm up, and he's hurt. They're all underperforming. And this, once again, the same thing happened with the Cubs, and now what's happening with the Angels. You can't lose 12 games in a row.
I just think that's pretty harsh. But again, I'm not I don't know.
I
That's
think
why I asked
the players took advantage of his managerial style.
How could you be a baseball player and not play your balls off every day? I mean, for the money, if you're a second baseman and you hit 225, you're going to make $7 million a year easy. I mean, how could you not bust your ass every day going to the ballpark saying, "Man, I can't believe I'm doing this"?
What should have been happening is more of them should have been cut. More of them should have been sent down to AAA.
You need a leader. Somebody say, hey,
someone should have been benched.
Yeah, you need to. Somebody got to kick some ass, but that should be the players on it. I mean, I don't know. I don't get any of this modern.
And John Smoltz said the other day, Shohei needs to make a decision, like Babe Ruth did.
One or the other.
One or the other, because this year it's not working.
Well, at some point he's going to have to, I guess. One more sports thing. I noticed that there's a big when Arch Manning, the being recruited by Georgia and every other big school
There's
in the
only
world,
3 choices.
and Pierce Spurlin III, I don't know him, Pierce Spurlin III, came to the campus at UGA, and they had him try on the white uniforms, all white uniforms, and there's a huge story about it saying all white uniforms are great for recruits to show off and see what they look like, stuff like that, but they will never wear them, and they will never wear them because Georgia's won all-black uniforms a few times under Kirby. The last time was a Peach Bowl against Cincinnati. Bulldogs won, but they keep losing. Huh?
The microphone.
Yeah, you're
What
talking
about-
to the newspaper.
They couldn't hear me because I'm over 4 inches away? Holy shit, this is a... Oh, my,
It just
my
sounds
fault.
like crap.
Anyway,
You're doing it again?
their history in non-traditional looks, like silver breeches, red or white jerseys, and red helmets with a black power G is not as bad as they think, but losses to Alabama in all black in 2008 and to Florida in black helmets in 2009, and Boise State specifically designed all red getup to start the 2011 season are reasons Bulldog fans do not want to change the uniform. So you're never going to see, but they look good, all white with a red and black stripe, all white helmets. I mean, but you'll never see
He's
it.
either going to Georgia, Alabama, or Texas, I think, is where he's narrowed it down.
I don't know why. I don't see him at Alabama. I don't think. Who knows? But I mean, when you go, that coach alone is reasonable.
I don't know if he's the type that's going to go where the biggest check is because he doesn't really
I don't
need
think.
that.
I don't think he is
still.
at all. But I don't know. Anyway, pretty cool. All right, now hold everything. Coming up, you're going to hear from one of our Kimmer babes from Down Under who got banned.
Yelling a little.
I'm sorry. In fact, I called about my ear appointments coming up on the 16th, and I said, forget the test, just give me the freaking hearing aid. And it's, oh no, we have to have a second test.
Well,
we can't do that.
You can order it on the TV.
I know, but I mean. Well, it's going to, here we go again. It's going to be thousands, and oh, you're covered for part of it. Oh, I am. That's great.
Sorry, Ronco has the product
the
right
Ronco
there ready
Popeel
for you.
fisherman people.
It's a pocket earpiece.
The pocket ear horn. Hey. They used to have big horns. I'm not making it up. But first, let's say you're looking for a horn, maybe a cornet or a
You're
trumpet.
looking for a horn.
Why don't, let's all say that together. You bastard, you son of a bitch. M&S Title Pawn. And this lovely little segment of the Kimmer program brought to you by M&S Title Pawn. And I say it slowly because it sounds like M&S, and it's not M&S, it's M&S Title Pawn. And again, sorry for the S-ing with my mouth thing. Anyway, they are in a beautiful downtown Bremen, Georgia, right there at 306 Laurel Street, Suite A. Bremen, Georgia. Open Monday through Saturday, and you can visit them in person, or I'll give you the phone number here, 678-821-3337. Or you can look them up on the web, and here's their web address, manstitle.com. And I'll spell that for you, too, because it's M and S. And when you put that together for the website, it's spelled MANDS title.com, manstitle.com, okay? Anyway, manstitle.com, M&S Title Pawn in Bremen, Georgia. And thank you so much for your patronage. Dan, did we get a cue? I didn't get a cue.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, you didn't cue me. It doesn't matter? Oh, we're different now? Okay.
Shut up, Pete.
Yeah, leave him alone, man. It's working. Okay, excuse me. Some weird stuff going on here. I got a note here from one of our Kimmer babes, Chrissy, who loves to watch the podcast and keeps in contact. Down Under. Hi, Chrissy. How are you? She's in Australia. And she wrote this. She said, interesting times for me. I was banned again, but this time for a comment I made in one of your videos, Kimmer. I was given a 2-day ban, and my group post goes lower for 28 days. I'm not sure what that means. Obviously, they denigrate her posting, whatever. I made a comment in the video that you, Kimmer, that you were patting the cats. I showed some horse video where the cats came over and I was playing with the cats, and so she made a comment about it, so they banned her? And she said, remember my previous restriction for 54 days for posting nudity, which was in fact a meme that Facebook recommended for my group. Apparently, I'm now a repeat offender.
We are too.
I see now when you go to comment on people's posts, they recommend things you can say so you don't say what you think, but use their suggestions. It's a sad world where we're controlled to the point that you can't use humor in a comment to a friend's post. I'll show you my restriction, and the nudity one I got 54 days for. And I wrote back and said, what a bunch of crap. She said, posts and comments are reported by other people, so somebody reported my comment. I won't be commenting the same as if I were at all. Stay amazing, Kimmer. Enjoy the show. Anyway, she posted a picture. The picture that got her in trouble of nudity was actually a picture of some buns in a package at the store, and it looks like a fanny. It looks like 2 rumps of a fanny, and it's actually buns from a package of buns in the store. I mean, my God. But here we go. I mean, it's
I'm
just...
almost at the point of posting something so I know they'll ban me, so I can tell them to go F themselves and not worry about it anymore.
Yeah, well, again...
If they do it again, I'm out of there.
But again, is the show now banned from Facebook?
If we get on YouTube, screw Facebook.
Yeah.
We can get on Rumble.
Yep, that's next. I need to.
Yeah.
Maybe Twitch.
A couple other things. Once again, I noticed
Grindr?
on... I'm sorry?
We can go on Grindr.
No, we're not.
It's a
joke. It's a joke.
I don't know. President Snail Trail once again has insulted and demeaned the greatest generation. Last year, he made no mention of D-Day, and this year he forgot until apparently it was time for his normal Jell-O and story time about 9 o'clock, and somebody on the President Pootie Quank's staff finally sent out a message. Oh, yeah, we forgot to those guys who carried those weapons of war. Too bad you died. Now let's go work on electric cars for everybody. Don't forget, just go buy an electric car. If you're tired of paying the gas prices, for God's sakes, just go buy a freaking electric car.
There's a meme of
My God, are you so selfish? You won't even care about American, try to cut the oil production, but just go buy a freaking electric car, for God's sakes. Freaking cheapskate bastards. And now, have you noticed? Or maybe you haven't noticed. I've noticed. I'm paying a lot more attention. Well, I live in 6th district. I'm starting to pay a lot of attention to the back-to-back TV commercials for the runoff in District 6. And they go. It goes. Jake Evans, Rich McCormick. Jake Evans, Rich McCormick, and they'll go back and forth. Jake the Fake or Rich the Rhino. I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't know anything about these guys other than what I've read and seen on TV, and that's my district for Congress. I don't know I don't know what to do.
Never heard of either one of them.
I hadn't followed either one of them other than their commercials. I know that, Rich McCormick's an ex-Marine and a doctor, and he served overseas and tours and combat. And Jake Evans has Trump's endorsement, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Are they Republican?
They're Republican. Both. It's a Republican runoff to take on... in fact, I don't even know who the Democrat is, because Lucy Mcconaughey is now in District 7 or something. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, really.
Sorry, trying to get away from Facebook there.
See,
No, I was just disgusting and hideous. Anyway, so I just thought I'm getting bombarded with those, and I'm trying to. I don't know how to make a decision, but I'll figure it out one way or another. Okay, a comment. Yesterday afternoon, Matthew Mcconaughey, who apparently was raised in Uvalde, Texas.
Born there.
Was invited to the White House to chastise conservatives about gun rights and try to make conservatives feel guilty about having a constitution that allows us to keep firearms because we don't misuse them. And because he's an actor, they used him like they used those TikTok 20-year-old hotties to try to get us to use electric vehicles. And when I started watching Matthew McConaughey with his old Mr. Sincere and his eyeglasses on, he's not trying to hide his thing, and he's reading all Mr. Reality and stuff, and he starts talking about the little dead girl's shoes and how he identified her body by her green sneakers. And I'm saying, whoa, come on now. If you want to start doing that, let's do it for everything. Let's have all the parents of the little black children who are killed by other little black children go to the White House and say, it's about time you black children started to stop killing other black children. And here's the sneakers of my daughter. I mean, every cause, if you want to do it that way, then let's do them all that way. I was so offended by this. He's using the bodies of those dead girls to try to make a political point to change my rights as a law-abiding citizen. You can kiss my ass. I'm sorry they died. My God, if that had been my kids, I've been going bananas. But yeah, to pull out the, try to make you cry about the deaths of, on the dead bodies of those little girls is no better than the Democrats who are calling for the gun control after it happened. And blame it on white supremacists and everything else. I mean, it was appalling to me. And by the way, Matthew McConaughey used to want to ban assault rifles, period. By the way, there's no such thing as assault rifle. He wanted to ban nasty-looking one-shot rifles. He wanted to ban them entirely. Now, suddenly, he's going along with the Democrats at the White House are saying, well, let's try to get it to 21, okay? He said, we should raise the age to buy one to the age of 21. So now he's caved in because he wants to try to at least pretend to be getting along with the White House. And to me, it's just, he's Mr. Wishy-Washy, Hollywood celebrity. He's obviously not a conservative, but I don't care about that. He has a right to be anything he wants to. But don't throw this down my face because he's a freaking actor. It's like when Will Ferrell came to town to try to get votes for Stakey Big Fat Loser Abraham. What the hell? I don't want to listen to a freaking actor. What has Matthew McConaughey got to do with my guns?
Well, he's made a hell of a living with guns.
Yeah, exactly. The same way that Liam Neeson, for God's sakes, he hates American gun tow. You Americans and your guns. My God, every movie he's ever done. Anyway, and again, I was offended by it. I really was offended by it. If you want to use emotions for everything, will you use it on, how about the aborted fetuses? It was terrible, I have little pictures and people crying over the little, the bedroom you painted for them or something in blue or whatever.
Cut them up.
I mean, show the body parts, I have a thumb for only $4.99. How about pictures of battered wives? Why doesn't the White House have, a battered wife woman? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm right here.
I know, but I can't hear that you're right there, so I'm sorry. A battered women. Yeah. I have women who, cut me, just beat the crap out of them and show them getting beat up. And their bloody, faces and everything.
But the first point, show the kids in Chicago that are getting killed every weekend.
Yeah, right.
Every week.
Somebody gets shot in Chicago every 2 hours.
A gun-free city, basically.
Right. A liberal, gun-free city. Gun-free zone. You're not. Well, only because of the Supreme Court are you allowed to even have a gun in your home in Chicago. You still can't carry one. And you'll never get a permit. But you weren't even allowed to have one in your house until the Supreme Court ruled like 10 years ago or something. And when I was there, I broke the law every day. I had a gun in my pocket every day.
Nothing will change there until African Americans do what the Chinese Americans and Asian Americans in San Francisco just did. They basically
get rid of them.
Recalled that communist young little punk that wasn't doing anything about crime, especially anti-Asian crime.
The DA.
And the Asian community got together and said, screw you, you're out of here.
They recalled him. And that was that was an unbelievably great story for politics, especially over there. But again, you got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of them. Child abuse. How about nice pictures of children being beat up? And by the way, I've got a story about one of those things coming up here for you too in a minute, helping a little boy. But again, it just bothers the crap out of me that they, on the bodies of dead babies and the bodies of dead children, trying to make political hay out of it, especially from a phony who's made his living off of guns and violence in the movies, glorifying violence and guns in movies, and then swishy-swashy changed his mind to make it fit better with the current liberal president and his administration staff. So I like Matthew McConaughey's a great actor. I've always enjoyed his stuff. I don't have an opinion about him as an actor. He's a good actor. I have no problem with that. But don't try to shove this crap down my face. I didn't do anything wrong, and because it's like taking away my car because someone else got drunk and killed somebody in a car. Yep. Philosophically, it's the exact same thing. I'm sorry, I'm going to go lower again. Now, here's my other question. If they're calling for a ban on the sales of so-called assault rifles, which is a rifle, under the age of 21, are they also calling to make it illegal for the possession of a gun under the age of 21? In other words, can a father buy the assault rifle and give it to his 19-year-old son to go shoot rabbits on their ranch? Would a cop arrest? In other words, would the law be possession as well as ownership. I can see whether they maybe wouldn't want you to buy one. No, I actually I can't see that. I'm sorry. Every time I even try to think about, okay, I'm trying to be, I try to be reasonable. I'm saying, well, okay, if we want to give it a little something on background checks or whatever, I don't really care if they know that I have a gun. I mean, if I'm buying a gun, I'll tell the cops. I really don't care.
I don't even like that.
I don't like it either. But I'm willing to go. I'm not willing to fight to the death.
Because that's how they do the red flag on you. He's got these guns.
Yeah, well, but until they try to take it away from you, and then that's a whole other issue. But again, I mean, you're right. The first step is they know who you are. But I'm even, I don't fight the fact that they have me on every gun I've ever bought, they've got a record of it somewhere. Anyway, but if you can't keep possession of it, and you can't use it, then to me, then you no longer can have 18, 19, and 20-year-olds join the military. How can you tell an 18-year-old Marine who went to Iraq and killed 10 people and got shot himself and come back and he can't buy an AR-15 to go shoot rabbits on the ranch?
The same way they tell him he can't buy a beer.
Yeah.
They've already set the precedent.
Right, yeah. I mean, but again, this is way different. Buying a beer or a pack of cigarettes is one thing, but when you are able to die for your country or murder or kill for your country, what they would call murder, but you're allowed to take a life for your country, which will never leave you, or be killed for your country, but you can't buy a rifle to go shoot targets. I mean, it's just. Anyway, that's all. That's my point about it. And I don't know. Again, I don't know whether they're going to try to pull possession as well as ownership, and there would be a big difference. Okay. Oh, I got so much stuff going on here. A couple of cool stories in your news today. Hold on a second. I'm going to find them right now. Oops, daisy. I've almost got it. I've got it right here, and here we go. Okay. Now, speaking of guns. In Florida, police have arrested a girl, charged her with killing a woman who was fighting with the girl's mother. The Orlando Police Department took the woman into custody, suspicion of second-degree murder, and it's a rather bizarre case because the mother got into a fight with another woman. Lucretia Isaac and LaShun Rogers were fighting at an apartment complex. So the daughter took out the mother's gun and fired 2 rounds to stop the other woman from beating up her own mother. The woman died at the hospital, so they arrested the daughter on charges of manslaughter, aggravated assault and with a firearm, and child neglect. And they're going to review the case because the daughter is 10. 10. They anticipate that charges will eventually be dropped. We'll intervene to do whatever we have to help her behavior and have her change and grow and ensure the public's safety going forward. And we encourage the public to remember, no matter feelings surrounding this tragedy, this is still a child. Wow. 10 years old, grabbed her mom's gun to save her mom. And I don't have a problem with that at all, to be honest with you. Now, one of the big stories, this is going to be my lead story today that I was going to talk about because I think as a father of daughters, and again, these things definitely affect me personally, as they do most people, I think. Larry Nassar, the Olympic doctor and doctor to Olympic and other gymnasts for years and years who will spend the rest of his life in prison for being a pervert and a molester, is now being sued, but the girls suing are also suing the FBI for $1 billion. $1 billion. Former Olympic gymnasts Simone Biles, Aly Raisman, and Michaela Maroney, you've seen her on TV, you've seen them all in ads and everything else, are part of a group of nearly 90 women suing the FBI, claiming the FBI's failure to properly investigate complaints against Dr. Larry Nassar resulted in the continued sexual abuse of women and girls under his care. He was a doctor for USA Gymnastics and Michigan State University. He molested dozens, hundreds, who really knows, under the guise of medical treatment when he got him on the table. I mean, just, I didn't even want to think about it. An inspector found that the FBI knew about it. They got reports and refused to do anything. Miss Maroney says, my fellow survivors and I were betrayed by every institution that was supposed to protect us. The U.S. Olympic Committee, USA Gymnastics, and the FBI, and now the Department of Justice being sued as well. I had some hope that they would keep their word and hold the FBI accountable after we poured... Yeah, it is funny. Sorry, let's take a good laugh break here for a second. I was hoping they would hold the FBI accountable after we poured out our hearts to the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee and begged for justice. It is clear that the only path to justice and healing is through the legal process. By the way, Miss Christopher Christine Wray, the former Atlanta lawyer who's now the FBI director and coward-in-chief, said, I'm especially sorry that there were people at the FBI who had their own chance to stop this monster back in 2015 and failed. Gee, really? That's so nice of you to say that you really, you just didn't have anybody to take care of that issue
How
there.
white of him to do that.
God, what a freaking... disgrace.
It's corrupt from the ground floor up. Get rid of it and start over.
And he still hasn't come out as a result of the trial, of the Sussman trial. He should have come out and said, wait a minute, this is all backwards. Those FBI agents, were not victims. They were in on the cahoots. Sussman was in on it. This is a disgrace. We need to clean house. He should come out and say, this is unacceptable.
It should
and
be
instead
bipartisan.
he's covering it up.
It should be bipartisan. Democrats are happy the FBI's on their side now. And hell, they share offices with them. They got keys into their own offices, blah, blah. They're happy about that. What they should not be happy the fact is how incompetent they are.
Yeah. I mean, and again, the politics of it, someone has to keep deciding, we'll get to that later, or put that in the other pile. Or
What were the politics in this, and a guy
I don't know.
touching young girls? What was the politics of that?
How could that be liberal or conservative?
Unless the FBI has perverts in there that thought, it's no big deal. That's the only way I can see them not following up, or thinking, it's no big deal.
Or because it was the Olympics, and they say, well, we don't want to denigrate the Olympics.
I don't think they thought it was that big of a deal.
I don't know. I can't.
Why don't we hear from the actual people and ask them?
Right.
We know their names.
Right.
We know who they are.
Right.
Why didn't you do this?
Right.
I want your reason.
Why isn't Christopher Wray going before Congress to find out and help investigate what happened at his own department?
And hold them responsible.
Yeah, and get rid of them. Yeah. And everybody who helped them. Gone. And charged. They should be charged.
Nobody's held responsible.
Yeah, they don't
for
do
anything.
crap.
That's what we said the other day. These little niggling little things on social media, my God, you lose your career over. But these basic institutions that just screw up right and left, never held accountable.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, one thing I forgot, I didn't watch it because I couldn't take it, but I heard a little bit of her sound bites. Speaking of the Matthew McConaughey business, they had one of the little girls who survived the massacre testifying before Congress. That's child abuse to me. Please. That really does. That does some good, does it? Do you think there's anybody in the world, or especially in America, who doesn't already feel horrible about what happened there? You want to watch a 10-year-old girl say, "Oh, yeah," after going through that slaughter? I mean, come on. I mean, it's freaking. It's just child abuse. Putting that girl through that. Oh, she wanted to. Really? You freaking scumbag liberals. Honestly, I hate these people. All right, a better story. Here's, we talked about something like this the other day when, remember the sign, if you see somebody doing this where they take their thumb and close it under their fingers. Can you see that sign like that? That means help. It means they're in trouble, they need help, go get somebody or call the cops or do something. Well, we mentioned the other day that a bartender, I think it was a lady bartender, might have been a guy, I don't remember, left a note for a woman who looked like she was being hassled, and he said, if you need help, change your glass to the other hand or something, and she did, and they took care of it. Something. Well, here's another case of what happened here with a waitress in Florida. New Year's Day, Flavian Carvalho is a waitress at a place in Florida, and she had a very keen eye when she suspected there was something wrong when a family came in to have dinner. She noticed, she was a manager at Mrs. Potato Restaurant in Orlando, and she was waitressing a table for a guy named Wilson, Timothy Lee Wilson, 36 years old, and his family on New Year's Day when she noticed the man did not order anything for the 11-year-old boy at the table. This Wilson is the boy's stepfather. He told the waitress, Carvalho, that the child would eat at home. He didn't want anything right now. and she noticed some cuts and bruises on his face and his arms. He had a big scratch between his eyebrows, and she saw a bruise on the side of his eye and just felt something was wrong. So without alerting the boy's parents, the waitress, who has 2 kids of her own, gained his attention and passed him a secret note, and it said, "Do you need help?" And the boy nodded yes. So she called the cops. It turned out the boy's stepfather, who not only didn't feed him, routinely abused and tortured him. He had bruises over basically all his body, totally, completely underweight. The cops said the boy was so brave, he not only saved himself, he saved his little sister by standing up to him because she was in trouble too. On more than one occasion, the boy was isolated, forced into small rooms by himself, starved as punishment, was hung upside down. He spent Christmas Day handcuffed to a dolly. He was forced to complete rigorous exercises, and if he failed to do them all, he would be beaten. The boy's mother was also charged with child neglect because she knew all about it and did nothing to stop it. By the way, since that happened, the waitress and the little boy, who's been taken away from them, obviously, are still in contact, and he's doing great, and everybody else is doing great. And again, a waitress who said something isn't right here helped that little kid. Imagine a 10-year-old kid being tortured like that and having a little sister saying, "Oh my God, guess what's coming for her too?"
I'm just glad that Senior Wentz, his career is over now, because he'd be in a lot of trouble if he went around. Are you okay? It's all right. It's all right.
Is that what I sound like?
No, just the hand gesture. They're doing that. It's like Senior Wentz.
It's all right. So that's when you paint it on the front.
It's all right.
It's all right. How you doing? It's all right. Senior Wentz. Who was that? Ernie Colbert? Who used to do that?
Oh, that was Senior. The guy
But
who
who
did it.
did it though? Wasn't it a
He
comedian?
was on Ed Sullivan all the time.
Yeah, but wasn't it a guy?
Yeah, it was a guy. That's his whole career was doing that.
Just doing he'd paint lipstick on his face. Pretty funny. Let's see. Speaking of little kids, there's a break for the case of the middle school, Kiel Middle School in Wisconsin. In Kiel, Wisconsin, the officials at the school, the middle school, had filed a criminal complaint against 2 8th grade boys, who were charged with misusing pronouns against 2 or 3 other people who demanded that instead of be calling her or him, be called they. And so the school actually investigated these kids, charged them, suspended them. Because of that, there were a series of bomb threats against the school. A group called Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, or WILL, is following up because the school now has closed the investigation, and they have alleged the 3 8th grade boys who refused to use preferred pronouns of the students will not have anything on their records. They will no longer be punished. The group does not fall under sexual harassment or Title IX problems because their speech is obviously protected by the First Amendment. And the school district and middle school clearly didn't believe that and didn't believe in the Constitution. And now, because they've been called out on it, they've had to say, well, maybe that might have been misguided. Yeah, it was primarily about mispronouncing. And they're not going to admit publicly that it was had nothing to do with mispronouncing. It was the ability of students and teachers and unions to make sure that you can't say anything that somebody finds offensive because of their phony gender. In fact, Matt Welch saying the other day, they showed some more part of him on TV when he did his documentary on What is a Woman. And if you missed it the other day, he actually sat down with official doctors and therapists and counselors and, PhDs and people who are supposed to know this stuff. And they were blasting him for making fun of the fact that there's only 2 genders. And they don't believe it. They showed some of him overseas, like in African communities or something. And the guys are saying, no, man has man stuff, woman has woman stuff. You can't have man do woman stuff, woman be man stuff. And Matt Walsh made the point. By the way, in all of human history, can you think of a time when anybody, for any reason, would have suddenly said, you know what? I think there might be a whole bunch of genders, really. I don't think it's just man or woman. I think, you can switch them around. I mean, who thought of that?
We're at a point. We talked about this before. It's transhumanism. Whether you're going to have cyborgs.
Is this the robot
or you're going to have,
generation?
it's either that or you're going to have a genderless society.
Well, replace women robots, replacing lovers kind of deal. And who needs men if you can have a robot clean your
everywhere
gutters?
around the world, sex is down. People
Yeah.
aren't having sex, and they thought the COVID thing would make people do more. They did less.
They stopped going out.
Japan is dying.
Yeah. But again, it's just, who thought of that? Where the hell did this even start?
Liberal woke BS, and we should have stopped it and nipped it in the bud, and we didn't do it.
It's the media. The media should have said, "No, just stop." Please. Who are you kidding? But
Which most people still believe
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
But the media and the corporations have all bought into this,
I know.
and they're shoving it down our throat.
that's-
Which is why Netflix is going under, because they started this woke stuff where every show was some woke BS, and people quit watching.
I noticed. I saw an ad for Netflix the other day, and it looked like they're trying to come back with some really good movies or
Right.
something because they
trying to
realize
change
they're
it.
losing
I've
everybody.
noticed they've got a lot of older good movies
I
back.
just saw an ad and had, well, that looks pretty good, So, but again, good. That's the way the marketplace should work. That's what the anyway. Coming up, speaking of liberals, we're going to talk about what may be going on at CNN. Also, the hero boy of Ukraine and the drone. A couple of quick crime updates. What was that?
I think it's like for you to not yell. You're yelling.
Oh, I am again?
You're yelling.
Are you serious? God, boys, I'm so
Give me a
sorry.
headache.
And
You're over there. I gotta say.
oh, I forgot to mention one sports
He's right
thing.
in my ear because I got the headphones on.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't. Again, I can't. My hearing is really
It's just a little loud.
messed up. All right, well, I'll try to be better. Now, I'm going to talk about. I have one more sports thing to mention to you about too, which I thought was kind of, and see whether you think this might be worth it. And a bunch of stories and some history stuff and some music stuff, and we got more things
all
coming
day.
up here. Be here all day. But first, Dead Crow Defense is back and ready to aim patriots just like you and me. It's not a gun store; it's your personal arms dealer. You're out with your buddies, you get a call. Oh, yeah, it's your personal arms dealer. I got your weapons for you there. After a short search, your requested item is ordered and on its way to you. Dead Crow Defense. They were with us a long time ago at the very beginning with ammo that you can't find anywhere else. And when you request a specific caliber of ammunition that's hard to find, Dead Crow doesn't scoff at you. They get it for you. Dead Crow makes firearm, suppressor, ammunition, and gear sales easy and painless. Old-fashioned personalized customer service, quality products. It's not been that easy for a lot of folks to buy a suppressor in America since 1934. But customers at Dead Crow wait an average of only 65 days to get their approvals. You can find Dead Crow Defense on com at deadcrowdefense.com. Certainly makes sense for all the in-stock items that they can ship the next day. Or if you're in a pinch, give them a phone call. Here's the number, 678-576-9117, or shoot them an email at sales@deadcrowdefense.com. Email sales@deadcrowdefense.com. On the web, deadcrowdefense.com. For your personal arms dealer, reaching out to you directly to talk about what you need because they'll get it for you. Tell them the Kimber sent you. Dead Crow Defense, your arms dealer.
I'll be picking up my gun from Avery tomorrow.
Excellent. What did you get again?
A little
6 hours?
SIG 35, nice little handpiece.
Yeah, cool. All right. There you go. Good.
Ask him if he's ever seen The Lone Ranger. Have you seen that movie?
The new one with Johnny Depp?
Which I thought was good. I don't know why
Oh,
everybody
I didn't
hated
like
it. I
it.
thought it was
I
good.
thought it was stupid.
He's got a dead crow in his head the whole time.
Yeah, it's a
Does
Dead
he?
Crow actor.
There's some funny parts in that movie.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
know, but well, I think that's what got me was that all of it. It's the Lone Ranger, and all of a sudden they're doing like modern day comedy. He's
Well,
doing like one-liners or something.
The whole movie, you wait for him to do it, and he didn't do it. And they're at the very end of the movie. He goes, "What do you think about this?" And Army Archer goes back on the horse and goes, "Hi ho, Silver, away!" And Johnny Depp looks at him and goes, "Don't ever do that again."
You were waiting for Hi-Yo Silver away, or you and me Kemosabe. It's just so. Yeah, but again, I didn't. I thought it was stupid. Although, anyway,
The horse saving them from the anthill? Come on. But basically, they're buried up to our.
Oh, that's right. The horse. Yeah, that's
They're
right.
buried up
That's
to their
right.
heads.
That was fun. Yeah,
The Indians let the.
It was good. It was fun.
And the
yeah.
horse comes
I
up.
agree. Okay, you're right. I mean, there was definitely some funny parts. There were funny parts. One more thing in sports I forgot to mention. I have a little note here. The members of the Walmart family, the Walton family and the Walmarts, have just offered and will apparently be able to buy the Denver Broncos for the most expensive sports franchise price in North American history. The Denver Broncos, $4.6 billion.
They're overpaying because they want it.
Holy criminy!
They'll make their money back in a decade or two.
But here's what's amazing. The current record for the most expensive North American franchise is the Carolina Panthers at $2.3 billion. For football. The most expensive baseball franchise in North America, the Mets, $2.4 billion 2 years ago. Overpaid for that. But the Broncos, $4.6 billion?
See, they own that whole region. I remember driving through Montana, and there's Broncos things up. That's their whole region.
I mean, isn't that John Elway's Ford dealerships or whatever he's got?
There's nothing else around them until you get to Phoenix or Seattle.
$4.6 billion. Yeah. By the way, and worldwide stuff, the most expensive franchise I think ever is the England Chelsea soccer team is $5 billion plus.
I thought Man U was more important.
Well, anyway, they're like $5 billion thing. But again, 4.6 for the Broncos.
Welcome to Walmart. Would you like a Broncos jersey?
What's that?
He's the Walmart.
Oh, the Walmart. Yeah. Okay. Hold on a second. I just got messages from my daughter. Excellent. But I'll get to that in a minute. All right, now, oopsie-daisy, got the wrong one. Here we go. A hero boy. Oops, wrong boy. Hero boy. In Ukraine, a 15-year-old boy has his own drone. In fact, he's known as something of a drone guy. He's a hero in Ukraine now because his father contacted local defenders who were trying to find out where the column of troops and tanks by Russian troops were heading for the capital, but they didn't have any drones to find out where they were or anywhere to try to surveil them. So this kid's father called local defenders in the military and said, hey, my kid has drones and he flies them all the time. Maybe he can help. So the schoolboy, more used to skateboarding than military reconnaissance, directed strikes against the convoy using his own personal drones. The goal was to find the exact coordinates, provide the coordinates to the soldiers. It was one of the biggest columns moving on the road to the city. They found it because one of the trucks turned on its lights. Ukrainian soldiers targeted the column and were able to block it and stop the march on Kiev altogether. Ukrainian military has been using commercial drones, but they didn't have any or couldn't find any. And he said, if we didn't have this kid and the drones to help the Ukrainian army, Kiev would already be occupied. And this kid is a 15-year-old boy who wanted to turn his drone owner's hobby in Ukraine to a military surveillance tool. And his name is 15-year-old Andriy Pokrasa, hailed as a hero by the Ukrainian military for using his drones to wipe out a tank column.
There's one in the day where there's a couple Russians in a trench, and he's right above them, and he drops it, and you see it fall, and you see them, they must have heard it or seen it, and they're starting to scramble.
You got him anyway?
Got him.
Oh, man, I love it. Oh,
Well,
well,
how
man,
fun
it
would
sounds a
that
little
be?
bloodthirsty, but
How
yeah.
fun
Well,
would that
remember the video we saw during the first Iraq War when they had all the drone strikes, and you'd see the fighter jet strikes, and you'd see the target below, and then it'd say, here it goes, and then remember the videos of them trying to scramble away, and they got them all anyway. Oh, I love that stuff. Just blow them to freaking smithereens. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it ought to be. Let's see. A rather interesting story about liberals we mentioned the other day. There could be some major changes as CNN tries to cope with its less than rosy future. Apparently, Brian Stelter and Jim Acosta are singled out as the liberal hosts who could be ousted by the new regime of the new CNN brass. Apparently, CNN took a hard left during recently ousted boss Jeff Zucker's tenure, but the new regime plans to restore credibility with a less partisan approach, unquote. New CNN chairman and CNO Chris Licht informed staffers he would double down on what's called the nonpartisan working well approach and eliminate what doesn't work. There are lingering questions over what's going to be axed. 3 sources familiar said if staffers can adjust to the less polemic approach, anyone who doesn't fall in line could be ousted. And that goes for critics like Jim Acosta and Brian Stelter, the face of the liberal shift. I mean, those 2 guys, please. Anyway, it looks like they may be on their way out. Not that is anybody even still watching CNN? And by the way, Fox just keeps setting records on viewership, and which I think is just excellent. Speaking of liberals, so this was just something kind of new. The first Atlanta area Starbucks store, the one on Howell Mill Road, voted 10-1 to go Union.
Which one? Starbucks?
Howell Mill Road.
Well, they tried that up in New York, and they closed it.
Yeah, well, Howell Mill Road has been on the first of the company stores in Metro Atlanta to go Union, 10-1.
That's where I used to live, off Howell Mill.
Yeah. On Howell Mill. I don't know how many there might be on Howell Mill. It doesn't say exactly which one, but it's on Howell Mill. Yeah. The company has argued that the company's compensation and benefits are wonderful, but the employees say, "No, you're not keeping up with many other employers." And again, since a coronavirus thing,
What company is it?
Starbucks, yeah. And the workers are saying, we want better pay, we want more reliable hours. And the company responded with a threat to provide higher wages and benefits only the stores where they're going to go union.
What do we want? A cure for Tourette's.
$9 coffee.
When do we want it?
Yeah. There are 9,000 company-operated Starbucks in America. 9,000. 85 have voted to unionize. 10 rejected unions. Let's see. 5.8% of the workforce in Georgia belong to unions, 43rd among the 50 states. Good. But again, this Howell Mill, well, you'll find out, and they'll probably close it, or they'll cut shifts or something. You're not going to be able to afford it.
2 unions. One was good, one was bad.
Well, what were you in AFTRA? What were you in?
What am I, an actor?
You were a radio broadcaster.
I was a Teamster. I was in Kroger back in the in 1980. That was part of the Teamsters, so you had to be part of that. And that they didn't do crap for you. Yeah. And then I was in the NT. What's the government one? NTEU, National Treasury Employees Union.
Was that for the IRS?
IRS, yeah. And they actually did stuff for you. But they were kind of intimidating, too. When they brought you in to discuss it, they had a guy who sounded like he's just off the wharves there in Brooklyn, and he had 2 huge black guys behind him just sitting there staring at you. Didn't say a word.
Teamsters.
Like, do you want to join? No, they weren't the Teamsters.
Oh,
they were the government.
The federal ones. Oh, my. Well, same. I mean, they're the
and
ones
when
with the guns.
I wasn't going to sign up again, it was like,
really? You want to think that again there, Bucko? Wrong again, Red Ryder. When I came to Atlanta in 1972, worked at a certain radio station, which used to be respectable. And after I was there a short period of time, there was a vote to go. There was like a member or 2 of the union who, for some reason, worked there. And so they had a vote to go union, and of course it failed. But so the union members went out on strike, and there were like 2 members of the entire news staff, which were like maybe 20 people. And I think there were 2 guys who were members of the AFTRA, American Federation of Television Radio Artists, I believe it is, AFTRA. And so they went out on strike, and I used to, drive to work, and I'd go to work. All the rest of us went to work, and we went through the picket line. There were 2 guys on a picket line at 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And we go to work and did our thing. And obviously, eventually, within a matter of a few weeks, the union, after it locally, didn't have any money. They weren't going to pay their mortgages. They weren't going to pay their rent. They weren't going to pay their bills. So clearly, they had to cave, and they went back to work, and everybody, stayed the same we were, and that was the end of that ballgame. So clearly, it failed because it was going to fail. It's a right-to-work state. When I left, because I got a job offered me $400 a week, and WSB would pay me nowhere near that. I went to New Orleans, and when I went there, when I got into television, I had to join AFTRA, and they voted. This is a quick union story. They voted to go on strike And we had a meeting with the after union, and the woman, the representative of the union was a woman. And we had the meeting of all the TV people in the room together, and she was calling. She said, we need to strike. We need to go on strike. We need to break these people. And she's, yeah, rah, rah, all this kind of stuff. So I said to her, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, how much money is in our account to help us pay for our mortgages and our, money that we're going to lose by not being at work for what could be months? And she said, well, there's no strike fund per se. I said, well, wait a minute. So in other words, if we're on our own here, I said, what are we paying our union dues? I literally said, why are we paying you union dues if you want us to go on strike and you won't give us money to be going on strike? Why are we paying our dues? What are you representing me other than to say you're on your own? And she had no answer. And so I did this. I mean, again, I was a 40-year-old anchorman or something. And I looked at all the guys in the room, and Teddy, the director, and all the guys, and I said, can you afford to pay your mortgage? Well, I said, you guys are going to get screwed. And I said, I'll tell you two things. I say I will abstain from the vote. If we're going to take a union vote, I'll abstain from the vote so you can say there was no negatives, that it was unanimous or no negatives. So I would do that for you. But if you vote to go on strike, I'm crossing the picket line. I'm not going to support this union because they don't support you and me. They're not doing squat for us. You're going to lose all your money. You're going to get screwed. Every one of you is going to lose. And so I said, but for the record, I will abstain. Well, let's take the union vote. Well, you can all vote to strike. They voted to strike. And clearly, when it came to negotiations, they lost and didn't get anything.
They didn't listen to you.
Once again,
the voice of reason.
They didn't listen to me. But of course, there was no strike. They didn't go on strike. They voted to strike, but never went on strike because they accepted the deal. But then I told the girl, here's the thing about the girl. In radio, if you guys know anything in Atlanta, somebody had told her that I was a strike breaker. I swear to God, she said she was spreading the rumor at the station and all through the broadcasting community that Kim Peterson was a strike breaker because he broke the strike union lines at WSB in Atlanta in 1972. And I said, yeah, there was no union. I said there was no union, and I said I was not a member of the union, so it wasn't like they hired me as and I wasn't in the union, so I didn't break any. I went to work. Like everything else. And I started getting steamed up and pissed off. And I looked at her and I said, let me tell you another thing. I said, if I hear one more word about you, and I went right up into her face, about you bad-mouthing me and libeling, slandering me behind my back, or that other Rod Wagner, the guy who was at the radio station who was a liberal socialist who tried to get me fired because I went to work too. I said, if I hear either one of you saying bad stuff about me again, I swear to God, you'll make your life miserable the rest of it as long as you live. And everybody's, backing off because I was really in her face. And she apologized, and I said, I don't give a damn about your apology. You say another bad word about me, that's a freaking lie. And I said, I will freaking make sure you're okay. As we're leaving the room,
A gun is pulled.
a young woman turned to me and said, you got balls, Peterson. And I married her. That was the one I married. But that was her first comment to me that I'd ever talked to her, I think. This one guy, she was working somewhere. And first comment was, well, you got balls, Peterson. And I thought, that is so cool for the hottest woman I ever saw to say that to me.
That's all it took.
That's all it took, baby. Oh. Then I swarmed her and claimed her. Anyway, so that's my union story. And again, I had to be when I was in Chicago for a couple of years, working at ABC, the network, WLS, the network station, doing stuff for the network. I would remember going out to stories. We would cover a police strike. And they would, or a teacher strike, and they'd start walking out of the buildings, and occasionally the camera guy would say, okay, we got a break. And he would shut down the camera, and he and the sound guy would have to take an hour break for lunch because you're required to take a break within 5 or 7 hours of your shift. I mean, there's actual rules. And if you don't, you get paid double time. And so for the television stations to say, we can't afford to pay all you guys double time, so you're going to have to take a break no matter what you're doing at the time, including covering the news. I mean, that's how ridiculous the union rules were. In fact, because of the union rules, when I was at Weesuck and Blither, when I was working the weekend shift, it was my shift was, I think, 3 to midnight, or I think it was 3 to midnight. And because of that, and I got Monday and Tuesday off, but because I worked till midnight, I had to get 2.5 days off, and they would not let me come to work at 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. I had to wait till afternoon or something. Because, and I said, I don't want to wait till afternoon. I want to come in at 5. Or guys, anyway, whatever. So unions suck. A couple of quick crime things. Not that we do it.
Quick synopsis, kids. Unions suck.
The Chrisleys. Do you know who they are?
I used to watch a show a little bit because I kept thinking somebody at some point is going to point out that this man is homosexual. But
Literally, that's what everybody's thinking when I'm like, wait a minute.
And how? I mean,
but he's not, I guess.
Yeah, it's really weird.
well.
Everything about the guy
is queer.
is queer.
Yeah. Well, now, let's not be, yeah.
That's our opinion.
No, I can say queer now. And again, I never saw the show. I've heard of them clearly. But it was, everything's Chrisley, or what was it? Chrisley Knows Best.
Yeah.
And now his kid, Growing Up Chrisley, was on spinoff Growing Up Chrisley, featuring 2 of the Chrisley's kids, Chase and Savannah, living in Los Angeles. And they just renewed for a 4th season.
Jeez, who cares?
And USA Network hit him in 2014 and recently renewed for a 10th season. Chrisley Knows Best, a comic look at the Chrisley family. Instant hit on USA. Anyway, they filed for bankruptcy, raising $20 million in loan debt. Apparently lied about it all, and they face up to 30 years in prison for cheating banks and taxes and so forth. My God. I mean, why? It's dumb.
Dream.
Also, this is a pretty funny story. Let's say you're at Rays on the River, a very famous place.
You're at Rays on the River.
He said, say, you bastard, you got me. Okay, let's pretend that we're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon evening dinner at Rays on the River. A nice weekend at Rays on the River, very famous place
Never
up there.
been there.
Well, but you know it. It's a very famous place. Okay.
It's on the river.
All of a sudden, gee, honey, I wonder what that SWAT team's doing here. Well, the SWAT team showed up to arrest Tanquavius Situan Lucas, described as a known gangbanger,
Nice Irish kid.
who was celebrating his birthday at Rays on the River when the cops came to get him at the restaurant. He was charged with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. That's always bad when you're, you can't carry one on you. He was one of the guys allegedly shooting 50 rounds at an apartment building on Joseph Boone Boulevard a couple of weeks ago. He was charged with aggravated assault, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession of a weapon during a commission of a felony, gang activity. It goes on and on.
Let me get this straight. They waited till he was in the most populous
Right.
place he could be
with all those people to go get
to go in there with guns.
I don't know. I can imagine the other diners must have gone nuts.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you
I don't know.
put those people in danger?
Well, I don't know. I assume clearly I'm not saying the cops put him in danger. I'm just kind of surprised they
I
waited for
am.
having dinner at Rays on the River. Well, maybe get him when he leaves in his car. I don't know. I mean, roadblock. I don't know.
Maybe they did. Maybe they waited till he went out in the parking lot.
But
That's what
again, I'm not being critical. I'm curious as to who made that decision. And for the record, remember that horrible golf course story? The golf pro Gene Siller from Pine Tree Country Club in Kennesaw. I played there years ago. It's a beautiful place. Just a wonderful community. And a slime bag named Brian Roden is accused of murdering 3 people, 2 of them in a truck that he pulled into a bunker, a sand trap at the country club. When the golf pro, Gene Siller, came out to check it out, he got murdered. Left behind a wife and a couple of small kids. GoFundMe, hopefully, is certainly taking care of them. But again, it was just senseless. Just senseless. A guy came out to see why is your truck in my sand trap, and a guy murdered him right there just for that. He came out to see if he needed help. Oh my God, do you need? You're
shot
an
him in the
accident.
back. Shot him in the back too.
Just just set these people on fire. We got some history music coming up. First of all, I like to read Dear Abby. Here, this is not One World. Okay, tell me if this makes any sense to you. Dear Abby, my husband and I are in our 40s. We decided to make a very big change in our lives. We decided to seek out a second wife, a sister wife, for my husband. I was completely on board at first. Okay, why would you, your self-esteem must be something. It doesn't say that here. So my husband reached out to a woman he knew years ago and asked if she would consider joining our family. But I was starting to get this feeling that she wasn't the right woman to bring into our family. She ignored many of my in-depth questions about why she wanted to live this type of life. I have expressed to my husband I no longer want her in the life, and it's reached a point that I no longer want to live a plural lifestyle. I felt bad that I'm the one who changed, so I agreed to allow them to continue their relationship as long as they keep me out of it.
I got news for you, sister.
Guess
that
what?
relationship was on long before this
Well, and
happened.
then she says, I don't understand how he can continue living this life, living two separate lives, and be okay with it. We've been together more than 20 years, and I don't want to leave, but how can I continue loving this man when he wants to go on with only part of his life with me? Oh, my God, what is the matter with you? I mean, what is the
I
matter
don't
with
know.
you?
What's worse than the thing on the internet now? Do you hear about the Disney thing with the newlyweds?
Yeah.
They had a wedding, and they're both families' parents helped pay for it. They set aside about $3,000 for food, but they didn't have food. They used it to have Mickey and Minnie show up for a couple 20-minute sessions, and they told people there are vending machines here, there's food trucks and stuff like that. And
The
then they go
balls of
nuts
these
because
people.
people are complaining afterwards, going, "Can you believe how they didn't
I
have
want
any
to pay
food
for
at
a
the
Minnie
wedding?"
Mouse show. Where's my dinner?
And people are saying, "Oh my God, it's like Disney's become a religion with these people. You're a grown-ass adult."
I know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, by the way, Dear Abby's answer was, or Gene Phillips now, relationships you describe can work out when all parties involved feel they're equally valued. Some women tolerate their husband having someone on the side because they derive some kind of benefit.
I wonder what that would be.
Yeah, I mean, my
Let
God.
me count the ways.
I can't believe he wants to keep a lifestyle like this. Well, you idiot. Oh, my God. I hold everything. I got a message from one of our Kimmer sponsors. If you're looking for a car, maybe a boat or a Sea-Doo or a whatever, if you're looking, how about swapmywhip.com? Have you tried that? Have you know what this is? You know, whip, of course, is another phrase for ride. So another Kimmer sponsor, if you're looking for a different ride, want to trade your car, swapmywhip.com. You can find like-minded car owners when you don't want to deal with dealerships or used car salesmen, and you get a better deal by avoiding the middleman entirely at swapmywhip.com. Trade your car, your boat, jet ski, whatever at swapmywhip.com. And right now, you can use the coupon code KIMMER, KIMMER, for 180 days of free premium listings on swapmywhip.com. Swapmywhip.com for a kind of a different trade, maybe exactly what you're looking for.
Excellent.
And back on the actual little program. Let's see. A couple of birthdays in the news here today, if we don't mind. Bonnie Tyler, total eclipse of my heart kind of deal, girl. 71 today.
71.
71. Well, that song's been around a long time. Keenan Ivory Wayans, who I guess is sort of the godfather of the Wayans family, isn't he? The older guy. He's 64 today. Juliana Margulies, 55. I never thought she was attractive. God, she
was just
she's
always whining, and
she looks like she's see-through. She's translucent, pasty.
Never understood that.
Oh, you see the feet on her? Oh God.
No.
Kanye. Well, they showed him once on TV. Made him couldn't eat for a week. Kanye West. Oh, I forgot the way to describe. Flounders guy described it in his birthday list in a funny way. The guy who could not keep up with the Kardashians, I think, or something like that. Kanye West is 45. I guess he's bipolar and troubled, but you know, he's had something like 135 number one hits or some ridiculous something like that.
I couldn't tell you one of them.
I read. Either could I, but I have no idea. I have no idea. But I saw that it was really something like 135 number one songs and made more money than next 20 artists together or something ridiculous. I mean,
amazing.
My God.
They consider him a genius.
I guess. James Darren, 86. Remember James Darren? Worked for the was it the Disney film back? You know, like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or the people deserted on the desert island, Robinson Crusoe, or all those
Time
those
Travelers.
all those movies back in the 50s and 60s from Walt Disney Company or who? Not
Handsome
Walt
man,
Disney. Who
yeah.
was it? Anyway, James Deeren, and he was a singer. He had 2 rock songs. I can't remember the names of now. Something about for the Queen, rock and roll for the Queen, whatever. And he was an actor and a really good-looking young actor. And he was a big star for several years, and then disappeared. He became a producer and many years back along 2000 something or other, at our old radio station, he called from Athens. And just I said, my name's James, and I'm calling from Athens. I'm a big fan of the show, and I thought I'd enjoying listening over here, working over here. I got talking to him, and it was James Deeren. And I said, wait a minute, James Deeren, the actor in the rock and roll song? He said, well, I'm producing a movie. I said, oh my God, I want to be in your movie. I want to be in your movie. But again, I was so thrilled that James Deeren. I mean, he was a huge guy, and he was listening, a fan of our show, and I thought, man, this is so cool. Anyway, he's 86 years old today. That was
Speaking of old, I'm flicking around. I saw a show on some Western station yesterday. It was black and white from the 60s called Tombstone Tales or something like that. Never heard of it. Didn't know any of the actors. You knew them from their site, but you didn't know their names. And basically, the heroes were the sheriff of Tombstone and the editor of the newspaper. Okay. It's 1882.
Tombstone Tales. We write it up. And
they got a renegade Indian that's shooting up the old stagecoaches coming in and out of Tombstone.
All right.
So what they do is they build an iron stagecoach, and they go out there to lure the Indians into them. So, of course, the Indians surrounded there, shooting. They think they've killed everybody in there, so they're going to creep up on it now. Well, the idiot behind the iron thing keeps raising his head over the iron thing, looking around. I'm going, okay, why do you think they built the iron thing not to stick your head over it, right?
Oh,
so anyway, all of a sudden, they wait till the Indians get real close, and then they open fire, and they slaughter them. They slaughter them to a man and their horses. So, and then they go, okay, it's time to get out. They get out of the stagecoach. There's 4 white guys, including a Union soldier. They get out. And the field is strewn with Indians, dead Indians, and they go around there kicking them over to see if they're still alive. I don't know if they were going to shoot them, but they were not still alive.
Oh, man.
And it makes, well.
This was a TV
show?
The
TV show, the sheriff goes, well, it's not a pretty sight, even if you win.
The only good Indian.
And I'm sitting there laughing, going, oh, my God. What passed for entertainment back then? So then the last bit of the show is the sheriff's reading the newspaper, and the editor comes in and sits down, for the synopsis of the show, and the newspaper guy goes, what are you reading the paper for? And he goes, well, I'm looking to see if Montauk, the Indian leader's name, is in here. He's looking on the front page. He goes, oh, I put him in there on page 4 in the obits.
Oh my God. Wow, it was another time, all
White
right.
supremacy.
What? Yeah, there you go. And Nancy Sinatra.
Wow.
These boots are made for walking. Also, the only father-daughter team to have a #1 rock song or hit song.
Is Dean Martin on the list? It's his birthday.
Dean Martin?
It's today.
I didn't put any dead guys on there. I only put live guys. Nancy Sinatra, 82. In fact, I remember when I met her when I was at Camp Pendleton. It was a Marine Corps birthday. And Nancy Sinatra and Jim Nabors and...
Okay,
Carol
you've exceeded
Burnett.
your limit of stories.
Right,
You're already at number
showed
3.
Up in 1967 or whatever it was, before I went overseas. And I got to escort them around. And I remember Nancy Sinatra, she was about 4'10" and weighed 80 pounds. It looked like you could put your hands around her waist. I mean, she was teeny, and not very bright. I tried to get her to wish a happy birthday to some brother, and she didn't quite get it. Anyway, and that was the whole Carol Burnett thing, hugging and kissing me, and it was in the paper, and my mom and all that kind of stuff. Old story. Guitarist Derek Trucks, 43, Allman Brothers and Tedeschi Trucks Band. Or Tedeschi? Tedeschi. And you remember the actress Kathy Baker from Picket Fences and other things? Kathy Baker's 72, in case you recognize.
My mom loved that show, but I never watched it.
I never saw it. And the same guy who was the star of it was in Top Gun. He was the commander in Top Gun. Skerritt. Yeah, he was in a lot of things.
But the star that came out of there was the girl that was hanging out with Jim Carrey for the longest time, the redhead with the piercing blue eyes. Or green eyes, I forget. She was redhead, and she was in Dumb and Dumber. She was the love interest in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, I know you're talking
And she was adorable.
We got to get her name
in
then.
Picket Fences. But
a redhead? I don't remember.
Redhead. You know if you
well,
saw
I'm just going to look it up here while we go on about our things here.
Lauren Holly.
Lauren Holly.
Oh, yeah. I thought she was blonde. Maybe she
Well,
was
she
ready
kept
for that.
changing her hair,
Yeah,
but she
Lord,
was
no,
a
she was a
redhead
dish.
on the
yeah.
show.
Yeah, she was hot. You want to talk hit records? In 2008, Rolling Stone magazine listed in 2008, Rolling Stone listed the top 50 guitar songs of all time. Top 50 guitar songs, 2008. Number 5, Brown Sugar by the Stones, 2008. Number 4, top guitar song, You Really Got Me by the Kinks. Number 3, top guitar song of 2008, of 50 of all time. Number 3, Crossroads by Cream. Yeah. Number 2, Purple Haze, Jimi Hendrix. And the number 1 top guitar song of all time in 2008, listed exactly, was Johnny Be Good, Chuck Berry. Well, just for a thing. Speaking of music, in 1969, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Charlie Waters paid a visit to Brian Jones at his home.
Charlie Watts.
What'd I say?
Waters.
Oh, sorry, Watson. Paid a.
You're thinking of Roger Waters from
Roger
Pink Floyd,
Waters,
probably.
Charlie Waters played for the Cowboys, I believe.
Yep, that's true. They visited Brian Jones at his house to talk about what a jerk he was with a band. And sure enough, then came the press release. He's no longer with the Rolling Stones.
Then he's no longer
Less than a month later, he was dead in a swimming pool. So that was a ball game there. Yeah, well, whatever. 1974. Remember we talked the other day about Dolly Parton writing the song "I Will Always Love You," and she wrote it for Porter Wagner that she broke up with because he was really dominating her like a white chauvinist. Anyway, she wrote the song "I'll Always Love You." Well, on this day, 1974, Elvis told her that he wanted to cover the song. He wanted to do the song, and she said, "That'd be fine. We'd love to have you sing it." Until Colonel Tom Parker said, well, now you know that if Elvis does the song, you have to sign over half the publishing rights. No, I'm not going to do that. So Elvis did not get to sing "I Will Always Love You." However, Whitney Houston did, and that was the huge #1 hit version from the movie Bodyguard.
There's a new Elvis movie coming out. Tom Hanks is Tom Parker, and they got this young kid playing it. And it's the same guy who did Moulin Rouge, so I don't know what it's going to be like.
Really? Well,
I hope it gives him some justice and knocks off this crap that he was a racist and all this BS.
Oh, my God, he was black, for God's sakes. Elvis was the first black rock and roller. He loved
Chuck
gospel
Berry was
music.
before
Well,
him,
the first white guy, black guy, you know. I mean, Elvis was a total black supporter
I know,
guy. That's horseshit.
He was a but he was
My
a product
God.
of his times. I mean, come on.
Yeah. This is pretty bizarre. First, the Beatles. 1967, the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's album hit #1. It took 700 hours of studio time to produce the Sgt. Pepper album, and it was the first album to print the lyrics on the sleeve, which, by the way, I used to appreciate. I always liked it when they would print out the lyrics, and I thought, why didn't they always do this? So you can listen, anyway. And one more. In 1959, piano showman Liberace defended himself successfully as he sued a guy named William Connor who was working for the Daily Mirror. And William Connor wrote an opinion piece about Liberace's performance. He called Liberace a fruit-flavored, mince-covered heap of mother love, the biggest sentimental vomit of all time, and a calculating candy floss. Liberace replied, "I am not sentimental." And now get this. This was 1959. Liberace sued the Daily Mirror for libel in 1959 and won the biggest libel award amount ever awarded, £8,000. That's like $14,000. That was the #1 biggest libel award ever in 1959.
Want to hear something funny?
Yes, I do.
Every once in a while, Jeff Hollinger sends me weird stuff, and I'll send him weird stuff. And today, he sent me something from the 60s. It's video. Liberace and the young folk perform "Feeling Groovy."
Oh, I can see Liberace with his sequin gold lame.
This is what he looked like. This is what he's dressed like. It's unbelievable. It's like my grandmother used to dress like this.
Mercy.
Oh, you got it?
No, I got a couple things here. A couple of historical notes. Way back in the year 452, Attila the Hun invaded Italy. And it's never been the same. 1968, James Earl Ray is arrested at London's airport for the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. James Earl Ray spent 30 years in prison before finally dying at age 70.
He got all the way to England?
Yeah.
Damn.
They caught him at the airport.
He left Memphis and got to England?
Got to England. God. Yeah. And it was on this day in he murdered him in, was it March? April. And so it was, he got away until now and made it to England. Wow. Amazing story. 1949, speaking of the FBI has a report that names a number of prominent Hollywood stars as members of the Communist Party in 1949, including, see there, Edward G. Robinson, see there, what's your God now, Moses? Yeah. 1953. The Supreme Court in 53 ruled that all those Democrat racists in Washington, D.C. have to give up their white supremacy of the Democrat Party and start serving black people in restaurants and bars. 1987, remember Fawn Hall? That tall, knockout, fawn hair-colored blonde secretary to Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Fawn Hall testified at the Iran-Contra hearings that she helped shred documents, and they agreed not to prosecute her. 1965, America gave the go-ahead on this day for U.S. troops in South Vietnam to go on the offensive, and thus began the official campaign called Search and Destroy. By about after I came back, by the time I think around 1970, they no longer were allowed to use the term search and destroy because it was offensive.
Have you ever sat back and thought seriously, if we had never got in that war, what this country would be like?
Well,
the counterculture would have taken at least 20 more years to get as powerful as they were, because the war and the protests stimulated that.
Two things. The first point was, if we had not gone there, North Vietnam would have taken over South Vietnam, which they did anyway, and which they have, and they did in total control of it without slaughtering all the people who got slaughtered because they had to fight for it. Cambodia and Thailand, Laos, the whole business would have really been the same way it is now. They at some point, if the North had, the communists had taken,
screw them. What would have happened?
Okay, but again, they would eventually had to rely on international trade, so they would have allowed international foreign servant people to be da. In America, if we had just had nothing to do with anything, I don't know what would have been the spark. It would have been civil rights without Vietnam. So it would have been civil rights, but not the leftist.
Would we have had the music that we had?
No, I don't.
The sexual revolution.
Would have had, then probably the rap culture would have started earlier. That it would have been. I guess it would have been a black-white racial. I don't know. It's hard. It's fun to think. I don't know what the hippie thing would have happened. Or at least not that fast.
Not to that extent.
Yeah. Or to that extent, or that quickly.
It would have been just a lot slower. It'd probably been well into the 70s before a lot of that stuff would have kicked in.
Or maybe not at all. Maybe, again, when you think about the 70s, the biggest crisis in the 70s after the civil rights was oil. And energy, things like that. And so who knows where the trend would have gone.
I just think
for mass
if we had avoided two wars, World War I and Vietnam, we'd have been a much better country.
Well, certainly I don't know. It's hard
just
to talk
saying,
about Vietnam.
If we don't humiliate the Germans in World War I like they did, there's no rise of the Nazis. There's none of that. No Hitler. None of that.
And again, that was all a mistake. That never should have happened anyway. World War I. That was.
Oh, it was all inbred cousins, royal cousins.
It was a family dispute,
going nuts
basically,
on each other.
What's the name? The Franco something or
no? Kaiser Wilhelm.
But who was the Duke or the I can't remember now, the Duke or Viscount or somebody. Anyway,
Mountbatten.
Mountbatten, the British fellow. Let's see.
You want to hear a bad joke?
I do.
Bad joke.
Yes.
What's the fastest thing in Great Britain?
What's the fastest thing in Great Britain?
Yeah. Now, you got to be history. Bless you. You got to be a history nut.
Fastest thing in Great Britain?
And if you watch The Crown, you'll get the joke. What's the fastest thing in Great Britain? This is a joke from the 1960s or 70s.
I don't know what.
Lord Mountbatten's shoe over the Irish Sea.
You would have because
They blew up his boat.
Yeah. Oh God, that's right. He was murdered, and that's what started the British
his
getting involved
grandkids,
because
too.
they blew up his grandchildren. So, oh my God. There you go. A couple things. Speaking of war effort, 1995, Air Force pilot Scott O'Grady survived alone after his F-16 fighter jet was shot down in Bosnia.
It's a movie.
And on this day, he was rescued by U.S. Marines behind enemy lines with Owen Wilson and Gene Hackman.
Good movie.
It was a good movie. A couple of sports things here, Pete. 1961, the Milwaukee Braves set a Major League Baseball record when 4 batters in the 7th inning hit back-to-back homers. You mentioned 4 in a row.
Eddie Matthews, Hank Aaron, Joe Adcock, and Frank Thomas.
Look at you. Eddie Matthews. Didn't he come, wasn't he like 18 when he hit the Braves, come right out of high school?
Milwaukee, yeah, he was really young.
Wow.
And they lost the game, by the way.
Oh, they did. I
lost
didn't
the
say
game.
that. I'll be damned. And also in sports on this day, in 1969, the New York Yankees retired Mickey Mantle's number 7.
Okay, I'll tell you. I said he got a plaque. Joe DiMaggio gave him a plaque. And then he turned around and gave a plaque to DiMaggio that was slightly bigger. And I think that's BS because to me, Mickey Mantle was a much better player than Joe DiMaggio. If you're going to pick a guy to start your team,
Wow.
you got Mantle or DiMaggio. Who you're going with?
Wow. Now, DiMaggio, of course, we know for beating, the 54-game hitting streak, but we don't know him for his arm or chasing down balls or.
Oh yeah, he was.
I mean, he was
great
obviously a great
outfielder.
player, player, but I don't know how you'd compare the stats to Mickey Mantle.
Mantle was a switch hitter, had more power, was faster. Especially
Yeah,
before
before
his
he
knee
got
injury.
hurt, he was the fastest baseball player
And you
anybody
know
had
what?
ever
Who got,
seen.
in DiMaggio, not hustling and getting to a ball as he should have in the World Series game is why Mantle was there and hit that. And I don't know why they had the stupid things in the outfield, the sprinkler system,
Yeah.
and that's where he stepped in that hurt his knee. If DiMaggio was doing what he was supposed to do, Mantle isn't there.
Wow. And again, DiMaggio's the guy who said, I always hustle because I would hate to have a kid come to the ballpark for the first time and see me not play hard.
Right. Yeah.
And he was known for always
And he
giving his
retired
best.
early because he wasn't at the top of his game. He
Yeah.
could have played a little longer.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a shame. Yeah, Mickey Mantle, man, before he got hurt, jeez.
The things
He
could do.
was just spectacular. I'm not. Yeah, again, that's kind of a fun debate. That's a parts way. Anyway, boys.
We all watched Bewitched, right?
Oh yeah, sure. With what's her name, the blonde?
Do you remember the 2 episode arc where they went to Salem, Massachusetts, which is why I'm wearing my
You have
Salem
a Salem
shirt?
witchcraft victims from
All of 'em.
1692.
Yeah.
I thought they never actually. They only burned like one witch at the stake. The rest they hanged.
They made it hanged or pressed. They put large
They
rocks
press them,
on
yeah.
them.
They keep putting rocks a little more at a time. Ooh, that's got to be bad.
Yeah, that's a bad. Well, there was that Bewitched where she goes and there's a chamber pot that's possessed, and they go back to Salem time. Right?
Chamber pot.
Salem, Massachusetts has a statue of Bewitched of Samantha,
Oh, I saw this. Yeah.
and someone vandalized it and
Yeah.
poured red paint for some reason on half of it. It frankly looks good.
For the top half, it's splattered in red. But how come? For what? What protest?
I know.
What's the
seriously.
point?
See, why would you do that?
Well, but again, if you're going to do it, then at least say why you did it. I mean, otherwise it's just being stupid.
All
If
right.
someone said, "Well, it's because of the time, the day for so and so," then but this doesn't make any sense.
Breitbart News says Matthew McConaughey has used 19 guns in 11 movies over 25 years.
Well, there you are. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to play bingo. You ready?
Bingo. All right.
Southern Wedding Bingo.
Southern wedding bingo.
All right, give me, of course, you have the bingo letters, and then you have 5 numbers. So give me a letter and a number.
A letter B as in boy,
And a number.
and a number 16. B.
Oh,
16.
okay, dumbass. I just told you.
Right.
You have the 5 letters of bingo and
Yeah.
5 numbers to choose from. Have you ever played bingo before? You ever had B16?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, you probably have. But anyway, we only have 5 today. I just said there's only 5 numbers to choose from.
Well, what are the numbers?
1 through 5.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I didn't hear
Even
that part.
Flounder picked
I
up
didn't
on the-
hear that part. I'm telling you, I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry.
All
You're
right.
right.
I will pick B4.
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 Bingo.
That's what you say at the bingo. Y'all never heard that?
No.
Anytime you're at a bingo,
We're not
and
Catholic.
well, no. Anytime you're at a bingo, like they're playing bingo, and they say before and after. Before and after?
I
like,
got
see,
you.
Catholic
Before and
humor.
after, it's like the
Ah,
Catholics used to
okay.
say, the Catholics used to say forever and ever, amen, or the Episcopalians said it twice. I was brought up to say forever, amen, instead of saying forever and ever, amen, like the Episcopalians do, and everyone never said it, and it was ridiculous and wrong. Sorry. All right.
Ladies and
All right,
gentlemen,
B2.
I cannot express in the English words how sorry I am for bringing up this whole thing.
All right.
Anyway,
Forget the before and after.
B4, Southern Wedding Bingo.
Yeah.
You're going to see a junior bridesmaid and groomsman. Okay. You would pick the one unfunny
Junior
one.
bridesmaid in
I'll
crimson.
go C3.
C3. That's a free space. Oh, okay. Come on, guys. Okay. Your
And again,
turn.
this is comedy. All right.
Wait, you're the one who said find something to play today.
D3.
D3.
D3. Oh, what? There's no.
Where in the word bingo do you find the letter D?
I'm sorry.
What is this, Battleship?
I thought you.
You
I'm
sunk
sorry.
my battleship.
I forgot how to
You
play.
sunk this
All right,
bit.
N3. N3.
N3.
And by the way, everybody always cheated in Battleship. They're like, you're
Wait a
going to
minute.
tell them where
I
they
just
were.
let him get away with C something.
Well, there you are.
There's no C in bingo.
Bingo. I told you there's no F in
God.
chocolate.
All right. What is it in what?
N3. N3.
That's a free space.
All right. G3.
No, it's not your turn anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
G3.
Thank you.
G3. At a Southern wedding, you're going to see someone watching a game on their phone.
Well, that's every
All
wedding
right,
now.
Kimmer, give me another one. I
I
swear there's funny ones in here.
I2.
I2. You're going to find a dog in the photos and the wedding party.
That's a good one.
Flounder,
B5.
you're going to see linen suits.
Linen suits?
Linen
Well,
suits.
yeah, I wore a linen suit to my wedding. It was in August in New Orleans.
All right.
You think I was going to wear?
Your turn.
Are we still going? B.
Till we get a funny one.
B1.
B1, mason jar decor. And last one, Flounder, give me one more.
Let's go with I5.
I5, random pieces of housing used as decor. Other things you would see at a Southern wedding bingo: football-themed groom cake, the bride wearing cowgirl boots, held in or near a barn, the bachelorette party in Nashville, using an old car or truck in photos or for driving away,
That old car, yeah.
no AC, sparklers for the leave pics,
Sparklers with.
chalkboards with a welcome message, koozie wedding favors. Hey, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Bridal party of 16 plus, a non-traditional cooler for drinks, a boat, a tractor scoop, something like that. Let's see, a mashed potato bar. Barrels.
That's a great idea.
I love mashed potatoes.
That's a great
I
idea.
love that. Barrels as end tables or holding up tables, chugging a beer during professional pics, and groomsmen wearing bow ties and suspenders. Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
You didn't mention Jim Seals died.
Who did?
Seals and Croft. Jim
I
Seals
didn't see that.
was 80 years old. And you know
Wow.
what? You look at the
Summer
songs
Breeze.
now, and there's a lot of it's good
Sweet
memories.
songs, yeah.
But God, they played them to death
Yeah,
in the
I know.
70s.
Well, yeah, they did.
And back then, you just wanted to kill the DJ for continuing to play the same one.
No,
over
that
and
was
over
their
again.
format. They only played like 10 songs. I mean, literally,
right.
that. I mean, as guys in radio, we know that we used to work people, and they had a list of songs, and you had to play them, and then play them in that order. Program directors got paid for their music lists, and you frequently, that's exactly the way they did
I
it.
don't know if you've heard this yet, but an Obama-appointed federal judge has ruled that a county in central Georgia violated the Civil Rights Act when its insurance company denied an operation for gender-affirming surgery for a law enforcement officer.
They denied him
So
to
are-
become a woman
Or the
or,
vice.
or man, either way,
Yeah,
and it was discrimination.
yeah.
Well, since so the government has to pay for a cop to get sex
No,
change.
we have to pay for it. We have to pay for it. Yeah. Yeah, because the pervert freak is...
because they're a member
Yeah.
of a federal agency or a state agency or
Yeah, I
something.
guess so. Yeah, the insurance
Come
company.
on.
By the way, there's a guy on Twitter, he's gay, and he says, look, I've grown up gay, and I've never had anybody
No,
do
I saw that.
homophobic to me.
Yeah.
But until recently, and it seems the other members of the LGBT community that are not just gay men are now attacking gay men for daring not to date trans men.
You know.
And he goes, that's the bigotry that I'm facing.
Yeah. Even the guy, who's the gay afternoon guy on 106.3?
Guy Benson.
But Guy Benson, he mentioned the other day, he said, I'm gay, I have a husband, but he said, you really don't need a whole month to be gay. And he said, no, he said, we only gay month. I mean, my God, you mention it, you're in favor of gay rights. Okay, fine, move on. He
Like,
said,
like someone we know once said, you suck one.
You eat 1 foot, you're a cannibal. I mean, it's over.
We won't mention who that
Need a
was.
whole month. My God, man.
Seth Dillon says we need a show called To Catch a Groomer, where cops organize fake family-friendly drag shows and then arrest all the parents who show up with their kids.
Did you see the video again of that little girl and the guy? I mean, it's appalling.
It's disgusting. Oh, by the way, Dr. Susafero, you know who he is?
No, I don't think so.
He is president of the European pharma giant PharmaMar.
Oh, okay.
He has been indicted along with 2,200 European elites, rich people,
2,200?
for being falsely vaccinated against the China virus. They were so afraid of the jab, and this is a guy who heads the company
The
making
pharmaceutical
it.
company.
He's so afraid of the jab that he and the 2,200 other people paid thousands of dollars to be injected with a saline solution in front of people to say they had already got the shot.
God.
Yeah. Tell me again how this isn't a huge conspiracy. And finally, we'll leave on a fine note. What is the one person that can go to a party, speak to nobody, steal the food, fall asleep, and still be the most popular guest?
I know. The dog.
The dog.
The dog.
Hey!
Look at Flounder.
Oh, by the way, since we got cameras here, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. I suddenly feel like I'm in a Quiet Riot video from 1980. What's with the hand thing you got going?
I sprained my wrist the other
I
day.
did.
Oh, what were you doing? Huh?
Well, I was working out.
Yeah,
I know- I know
I love
that-
it. You see what he did? He goes, I was
Yeah,
working out.
Yeah, washing too fast. He used to call that in the Navy.
Well, unlike you two, I get laid. So
There you
What
are.
happened?
Rub it in.
I was doing curls, and sometimes I just agitate the wrist. So the only thing this prevents me from moving it a certain way.
Do you do reverse curls?
Those
are brutal,
I do
man.
the
Or
forward.
rolling up string and stuff
Oh,
like that?
my dad did that. He took a broomstick, cut off the end of it, and drilled a hole in the middle, and
Yeah.
put a rope
ropes
and tied
on
it
it,
under a
and
weight.
just roll up the ropes
and
like that.
It is fantastic.
I'll tell you, you want to know the greatest? Actually, you have a newspaper. You don't have the newspaper, do you? I'll do it with this. Watch it. Here's the thing you do with a newspaper. Now, this is as old as the hills, but I promise you, you take apart a newspaper. Of course, there'll be bigger pages than this. But here, let's say you've got a newspaper.
You've got a newspaper.
Thank you
How about,
very
how
much
about
for
I
saying
hand you a
that.
newspaper?
No, I'm gonna destroy it.
I don't care.
Well,
It's the AJC.
okay. All right. You take a newspaper and you take it apart and you do this. You take one hand,
Yeah.
do that
Yeah.
all the way till you get it all
That's
in a
pretty good.
ball. Okay, like that.
Then you throw it at Flounder.
And then you put that down. Now do it about 20 times.
Yeah.
Let's see
pretty
how
good.
many. Let's see how many times you can do rolling up a sheets of paper, newspaper like this, before your fingers and your hand. But again, what great exercise!
yeah.
This is the perfect exercise for if you want to play the guitar or pitching bass, whatever. If you want to get your hand strength and stronger and fingers, just pick a newspaper. Or those things.
Those
Well,
kinda
that's a whole different set of muscles. This is the fingers. This is. Try this.
The ink
I'm telling you,
poisoning alone.
You'll. Really.
Well, I'm telling you, that roll thing is very easy to make.
Yeah.
And you do it, and
You
then
just
you
roll it up
flip
like
it over
this.
and do it the other way,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, that's right.
And it's a really great exercise.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, now I sent you guys.
Well, it looks like they all had those fingerless gloves like Madonna. It was part of the unisex
Gangsters used to have those.
Madonna.
That's what hoods had. The guys with the Harleys. I have fingerless gloves. When I used to ride my Harley, I rode those with those.
look. All right, Bad Text Theater. Let's see.
Now
what do
I
we-
sent you one. Did you get the one I sent from
do you wanna-
Anthony?
do you want to do the one he sent, or he's going to keep
Well,
talking about it?
No. You don't have to.
All right,
do it.
we'll
I
do
don't
that
care.
when it's the last one I sent.
No, we'll save it. Save it for next year.
No, we'll do it now.
Is this the man and woman?
Yeah, it's a man and a woman, and she's talking to the man, and they're married. Are you the man or the woman?
I'll be the man.
You'll be the man. All right. Not with that wrist thing. Now that we are married, you can get rid of those golf clubs.
You're starting to sound like my ex-wife.
I didn't know you were previously married.
I wasn't.
Kaboom. She told me no. I forgot. Anyway, look out.
How many times have I got to tell you? You dumb bastard.
Well, you can't hear me. I'm right here. You idiot. All right, boys, have a good one. Any final thoughts as we mosey on here? Looks like you're looking.
Lizzo has a boyfriend, Mike Wright, and he looks normal sized.
Who does?
Lizzo, the big girl.
You know, that's still amazing. When she showed up at the radio
saw
station,
her a month
we saw
before
her,
she broke. A month.
And she was just nobody had ever heard of her. She sang a song in the studio or in the break room, whatever. And then we went about our business. All of a sudden, she's an enormous hit.
Yeah.
Huge, and she's young too and new. I don't know what happened, but she's hit something.
And Ricky Fowler looks to also be joining the other ones.
Oh my God!
I tell you, it's once a big name like Dustin Johnson said. The other ones feel okay to do it.
Yeah.
No, Mickelson, they didn't want to have anything to do with him. But when Johnson said he's going, that just opened the floodgates.
But
Sergio
apparently
Garcia.
Mickelson's going too.
Yeah, but he's
Of course,
past
he's
his
European.
prime. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Well,
past
I
it.
wouldn't
and
say that.
Schwartzel's South African, and so it took a huge American to do it that was still playing.
But the cheater, who was a cheater from Georgia?
Bubba?
No, the other guy.
Cheater.
Used to steal stuff out of their lockers.
Patrick Reed?
Patrick Reed.
Allegedly.
They claimed they
He's
call
also
him a
known
cheat.
as Captain America.
No, they called him a cheat.
Now,
He's well known
he
for it.
was huge on the Ryder Cup, and he's not going to.
Well, I mean, this is amazing. We're living in a very funny time. The PGA Tour, my God.
It's going to collapse in front of our eyes.
Well, this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see the next, big event.
They're going to have to cave and let the guys play the majors. Or else the majors
or
are going to be squat. You're going to have Tiger limping around and a bunch of old guys.
Well, the U.S. Open's open to anybody. The Masters would be closed. Although the Masters is
No,
private,
they'll
they
let
can
them
open
in.
it up.
Yeah.
Well, then the only one that would be the PGA National because the U.S. Open is open. The Masters would be open. The British Open would be open. And so the only one affected would be the PGA tournament. But so then
Yeah, the
they're going
British
to
have
suffer.
sold out to the Saudi Arabians a long time ago. They're not going to say no.
Yeah. Anyway, boys, have a good one. We'll see you again when we see you again. I'm
good
going
luck
to
on
Florida,
this,
and yes,
trek.
over under on whether my stuff's all flooded out and ruined.
Keep us up to date that you're still alive.
All right, hoorah, Semper Fi, I gotta go. You're killing me. Look out, herp. That's what I was saying. Herp, look out. I gotta go. You're killing me.